Here we go. Hi, everybody. My name is Katy of Greenland Quilter. Welcome, welcome. I have a new guest. Her name is Mary of Merry-Go-Round Quilts. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do today. Hello, Vicki. Let me go scroll back. Hi, Vicki. Hi, Robin. Hi, Denise. Hello, Andrea. Welcome, welcome. Hello. Who else is here? Denise. Hi, Linda. Hi, Loretta. And hello. Oh, hi, Joyce. And hello to anyone I might have missed. So tonight I'm sewing with Mary of Merry-Go-Round and Round Quilt, sorry. She is one of the designers from the Fat Quarters shop sewing the Stronger Together 2024. Her block was called Stop and Stare block, which just happens to be the one that I wasn't finished with yet. So I will be sewing that tonight while we're getting to know Mary. If you something happened with the questions list, it didn't show up. So if you guys have questions you want to ask Mary, please post them in the chat. Let's keep the chat moving and I'll get Mary to answer questions. So Mary, would you like to tell everybody who you are and how you got started in quilting and whatever else you'd like to share about yourself?
Sure. I'm Mary Davis with Merry-Go-Round Quilts. I have been quilting, I think I made my first quilt in 1994 from a book that I bought at a store that is no longer in business. You know, way back then they had tons of fabric stores. I shouldn't say tons, but a lot. As we're now, there's just like one chain, which is Joelsen's out here. But so I made that quilt. It had a bunch of different techniques. It was a sampler. It had working with curves, applique, sewing Y seams. And so I made that sampler and it was very exciting. And I had initially got started quilting because my mom started quilting and I really liked seeing what she was making. And I was just in awe that you could make stuff like that. But I think the crafty side of me was always looking for new crafts. And I've always sewn. I was a garment sewer. I started out as a garment sewer and I did that forever and ever and ever. And then once I segued into quilting, I didn't really have that time to sew garments like I used to. I felt like I could only do one or the other because it took up so much time and I really liked the quilting. So once in a while I would do garments or costumes for my daughter when she was young, but I don't know, I just like working with fabric, needle and thread, sewing machine, anything to do with the sewing machine. I like working with it. I started my company, Merry-Go-Round Quilts, in 2020, I believe. I was new to Instagram, and I mean, everything to me was very, very brand new back then. So I had no idea. I was not on any type of social media except Facebook. So I've grown a lot personally and with my business during that time, and you know, had some things that I tried, pivoted, stopped, and you know, so it's the business is kind of just still growing. There's do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
This is all about you and letting everyone else get to know who you are.
So in 2020, I decided I wanted to learn how to make quilt patterns because, you know, I've always been the type that has looked for a side hustle. I've always wanted to make extra money. I was a single parent growing up, not growing up, but with my daughter. So, you know, I always wanted more money to do things with. And so I always had some kind of a side hustle. And when I was looking at maybe trying to figure out how to do quilt patterns, and I was on Etsy and I was looking around at quilts that patterns that I was buying, and I would see that there's like a little notification that tells you, oh, you know, 20 people have this in their cart, or, you know, 80 people have this in their cart. And it got me thinking, oh my gosh, can you imagine $80 times whatever or 80 times whatever they're charging for quilt patterns? And so I did get me some graph paper and some colored pencils, had no idea what I was doing. I didn't do a thing with it. And then I found Elizabeth Chappell's Quilter's Candy pattern writing course. And it just kind of was like perfect timing. It was what I wanted to do. And so I took that course, and out of that, I decided to start a membership that featured quilt pattern designers of color at that time. And then I was also writing quilt patterns, and it was fun. It was exciting. It was a good time. But then last year I started a course a digital course, a free motion quilting course. And I just realized that I really wanted to do more with digital courses and kind of drop the membership. And so that's what I did in January. The membership is gone, and it's just, I'm really hoping to add more courses to my repertoire of online classes.
So, how did you get invited in to be one of the designers for this year's Stronger Together quilt?
That quarter shop just reached out to me. They were looking, typically they usually only had one designer, and she would design the entire Stronger Together quilt pattern. But I guess this year they had decided they wanted to do multiple designers and each do a different block. I don't know if maybe they thought it was like a something different, and plus that maybe it wasn't so much pressure on us to do a full quilt. But they just reached out to me and asked me if I was interested. And at first I was thinking, I don't know, I've got so much on my plate. And then the Katy of So Spicious was like, why aren't you doing this? And so I'm like, I know, okay, I'll do it. But it was fun. It was a good experience, and getting invited into the fat quarter shop world. They provided the fabric for the quilt, which was awesome, because we all like getting free fabric in the mail. So it was really good.
So, I'm going to show your block. This is Mary's block. So, Mary, can you tell us a little bit about why you designed the block the way you did, or what inspiration you had when you were creating the block?
Yeah, I really like stars, and I feel like they're so versatile. My favorite block is the Ohio Star. And I feel like there's just so many things that you can do with the star block. So I just knew that was where I wanted to start. And I designed my patterns in EQ8. And I started with, I knew what I wanted was the center star. And then I just kind of worked around that to see how I wanted to finish it out. And that is what I ended up with.
With this year's Stronger Together quilt, the theme is about education and people, moving upward in their life. And I think this has been quite inspirational for, anyone who wanted to participate in raising funds for the United Negro College Fund. Well, I'm all about that.
Yeah. And I think I can't remember the exact amount, but I know that they raised a lot of money, and then Fat Quarter Shop matches up into a point.
Yep.
So
I don't know what the amount was, because I was in QuiltCon I was in the United States, so I missed out on what the final amount was, but they usually do pretty good with Fat Quarter Shop raising funds. So I have a couple questions from a couple people here. Robin Marie says, hello, Mary. That quilt behind you is gorgeous. Someone asked what the name of it was.
Yeah, this is called Hum a Few Bars. It's available on my Etsy shop. And it's funny because it was the second quilt pattern that I released. And I remember having having a time with it. And I I really like working with strip sets. I like patterns that are easy and not complicated. And I have to tell you, doing that Stronger Together quilt, sometimes it was giving me fits because there were a lot of little pieces in some of the other designers' blocks. But yeah, I just like simple. So this reminded me of piano keys. So that's why I called it Hum a Few Bars. And the cool thing about it is there's like 3 variations of the design. There's one where you could do a color on each corner. So 4 different colors. There's one like this one, each row is a different color. And then there's another version where every 2 rows are the same color. So, I mean, there's just so much you could do with that. Light or dark background. I mean, it's just, I really like it. Only comes in one size because it's like 72 inches, I believe.
Okay. Would you like to show everyone your Stronger Together quilt?
Sure. Now I'm still quilting mine. I'm still free motion quilting the top. And I feel like I have quilters ADD because I start and then I move on to something else.
I think some of us have to have multiple projects so we don't get bored.
Yeah. And so
at least that's the case with me. I can't just stick with one thing and go all the way through it.
Yeah. I don't know how much of this will show, but
oh, that's beautiful. I can't wait to get mine all put together. I'm doing mine in batiks.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so this one I started free motion quilting 1 block. I don't know if
here, let me pin you so everybody can see. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna pin you. All right, where's the thing? Let's see, spotlight. Okay, now we can see yours. There we go.
So one of the things I want to get better at is ruler quilting. So I decided to do this block all with straight line quilting. Well, I shouldn't say all because I have some little flower motifs and some loopies in here. But for me, that was a lot of straight ruler work. For some of you, it's like a drop in the bucket, but for me, it was a bit of a, I don't know. My lines aren't as straight as I'd like them to be. I'm still working on, the best position to hold the ruler in and stuff like that. But yeah, so this year is going to be all about rulers for me and learning more that way.
What was I going to ask you? Something to do with that. Are you doing the quilting on your domestic or are you doing it on a long arm?
I have a sit down long arm. I have the Baby Lock Regent. So it's just in a table and I love that machine. I like working fast. Like I said, I like putting quilts together fast. I like free motion quilting fast. And, with the Baby Lock Regent, you can set your speed as where when you're with the domestic machine, you can kind of only go at one speed. And it takes a little bit longer with the domestic, but I think I've just gotten so used to my my Baby Lock that I don't want to use my domestic for free motion quilting, but I really need to because, to show people that you could do it with anything. You don't have to have a long arm and a frame in order to do free motion quilting. So I do need to work more on the domestic. It's just harder to film for me.
Robin asked, what's your favorite tools and do you have a tip that you would like to share with everyone?
Ooh, my favorite tools. Oh, well, here is my favorite ruler, which is the 2.5-inch square. Love 2.5-inch squares. I like jelly rolls, but I don't always want to spend the money for them. So I'm happy getting a bunch of fabrics and just 2.5-inch doing those myself. Other favorite tools, when I do free motion quilting, I like using the open toe foot. That's my favorite because I want to be able to see exactly what I'm quilting. I don't know if I have it's not my favorite by choice, but I do use the seam ripper quite a bit.
I think a lot of us use that seam ripper a lot. Hey, speaking of seam rippers, I want to show you something, and then I want to see what your favorite seam ripper is. I this is crazy, but you see how small that is?
Yeah.
I like this small one because the blade on the end, the point,
Mhm.
very small. So it
Mhm.
just slides up even into a tight, if you're using a smaller stitch length, it still will slide in there versus the ones that have the really big tip on them. I
Yeah.
find them difficult and put holes in fabric all the time. But with the little ones like
Oh,
this, that have the little small head on it,
huh.
I'm just, I love it. So what's your favorite type of seam ripper?
Oh, just anything. The one I have now, it's not in there. My place is a disaster.
Yeah, well, I
Um,
can relate to that one. See, I'll show you a couple of other seam rippers I have. This one is an Alex Anderson one, and to me, it's real bulky. This this just doesn't seem like the tip is as small.
mhm.
Then there's this one. I don't know where this one came from. I think somebody gave it to me, but there's
Oh, no.
this one, and the tip of it is a little bit smaller on the very end of it.
Huh.
But I
Yeah.
still like the little short one for some
Oh,
reason.
yeah. Yeah. We get in our place where we can only use a certain thing. Mine is just something that I probably just got at Joann's or something. It's just your
Yeah.
base with the plastic handle.
Yeah, that little short thing don't cost much. I mean, it's like $1.50 or something.
Yeah.
But now they're getting harder to find. It seems like since after the pandemic, finding these little short ones, because I have no idea where I got those.
Well,
And
I
so I've
think
tried looking online for them and can't find them.
in my yeah, in my sewing machine, this is what came with it, but it has the little thing
Yep.
that covers it. So maybe that's where yours was from.
It could have
Because
been, yeah,
yeah,
because I have no idea. I know I only have one.
yeah. Oh, and it doesn't have a little ball on it either, but it has a blunt
Yep.
edge there. Huh. I never use this unless I can't find my other one.
Come
I
on,
think
you
I
got,
like
yeah,
something with a
keep going.
bigger handle. Oh no, I think I like the ones that have a bigger handle.
All right, you guys in the channel, let's get some questions rolling for Mary. And we're going to start sewing as well. So please start asking questions or start telling
Yeah.
us what you're working on that you'd like Mary to know that you've been working on. And is there anyone in the channel that has worked on this year's Stronger Together besides myself?
Or I have
This
a
is
question.
my third year doing it. I mean, I didn't do it the first year because I wasn't so sure about that pattern. And I'm
Yeah.
still staring at it like, do I want to make it or not? But I might make it just for the heck of it. But the last year's, oh my God, I love last year's.
Oh, that was so
Uh, it
pretty.
was
Michelle.
it was such a joy to put
That was pretty.
together. It really
I didn't make it.
was.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should make it because it's such a joy to make. It reminds
Yeah.
me of building Lego blocks.
Oh, well, I have a question I want to ask your audience. Now, I bought these today at the store because, I love free motion quilting and I'm really getting addicted to thread that I didn't know that I had that addiction before. And
Oh,
so I bought all of these, like, they're sulky and they're glitter threads. It says that they're 30 weight. And I'm wondering, I've never tried these before. None of the clerks at the store had tried it, but I'm wondering if anybody in your audience has tried these because I thought they were so pretty. I bought a bunch of them to experiment with.
anyone
And
got
maybe,
an answer for that?
yeah, I might even go back and get some more.
All right. What is the length of this block supposed to be? The only complaint I have about this pattern
Page numbers,
is, huh?
page numbers.
The pattern is written weird. It's just weird to me. I'm a visual learner, And I like to have, when you're doing one block, I like to have everything you need to have for that block. But
Yeah.
they combine like the first two blocks, all the
Yes.
list in one list. And it's confusing
Yeah.
to me because when you get on the second block, you're going back and you're like, I don't understand this part. So I've had a little bit
Yeah.
of difficulty with this particular pattern. I had to redo block 4 because I did the center too small.
Oh, yeah. I found that with the block, I had to really pay attention because, and this, like I say, I don't like blocks with a whole bunch of pieces, and I had to cut everything out. And then I was wondering, well, does this go with this one or does it go with that one? And I thought it'll all work out. I just need to cut and label. And I did find that I was missing some after I
Yeah.
had started to sew. And it's like, wait, did it, where'd this piece go?
Yeah,
But
it's been a little bit of a, I don't know what, I'm not complaining about it, but
yeah.
it's been a challenge because so a complete novice would probably give up about, especially when they were the first block was fine. The second block is the one where you're trying to figure out what size blocks you're supposed to be using with it because they added it to the list of the other one when it should have been totally separated from it. But on the one where I had to redo it, the upward bound one, if you're not
Mhm.
paying attention, you totally foobar it.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so let me see here. Uh Vicky Ramsey said, what are they? So wait, let me back up a little bit because we're talking about thread. I'm doing blocks.
It's closer.
So Lori said they look like metallics, and then Vicky says, what are they, Mary? And then Michelle says, and then Robin says, I don't like metallic. They seem to break more than regular threads for myself.
Oh.
And then Vicky says, the thread you showed, Mary, what brand is it?
Sulky, Sulky.
I've seen Sulky in several of the Florida shops when I was shop hopping.
Yeah, I've never tried that. I haven't tried them. I don't know. And I thought, well, they were only $3 a piece, so I don't feel like I'm out too much money if it doesn't work. Maybe I'll try it in the domestic machine over the long arm. I don't know. I'll see. But thanks for the tip. I was wondering if they would break. But it says 30 weight, so that's a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
Than most
well,
Aurifil.
The lower the number, the thicker, right?
Yes.
Because I'm still learning that myself. No, these were supposed to be 6.5 inch. Okay.
Yeah, because when I first started free motion quilting, all I used was the Coats and Clark brand. I didn't use anything special, and I never had any issues with it. And then once I got onto Instagram and you start seeing what's out there in the world, then you're like, well, I should be trying that. So,
well, I saw all kinds of threads that were being sold in because we did 45 shops while I was in Florida, and I was amazed at the amount of different thread companies that were inside these quilt shops, and a lot of them I hadn't even ever heard of.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you know what's a good thread? I've done nothing but I have some off the wall things in my drawer that came in, different kinds of things, but I've been using Aurifil because I thought that was the go-to thread for everybody.
I know. I think, like I said, I think Instagram kind of makes you use some of those designer brands. But I mean, that's what Instagram's all about, and being influencers and kind of pushing those threads. I was an Aurifil ambassador for a time, and I do like the thread. At first, I thought it was better than the Coats and Clark, and that I wasn't getting as much length in my machine. But now I'm kind of torn because I feel like I do get a lot of lint with the Aurifil. And so I've recently been playing around with glide thread, and that I really, really like, which is
the glide is polyester, right?
Yeah.
See, that's the only thing I'm a little leery about. You're using cotton fabric and then you're putting polyester on it. And I wondered if there would be like a shrinkage difference or something because of that.
I don't think so. I've never had an issue. The only time I feel like I get shrinking is when I do a big free motion quilting piece where I'm putting a lot of stitches in a small area with like my thread painting, which I love to do. So that does tend to draw up the entire piece, but I don't think it, I don't know. Then again, I wash my quilts and I don't think I've ever had any type of issue with it and with it shrinking or anything. So am I supposed to be sewing now?
You can sew while you're talking, or you can just sit there and talk. I don't care. I'm good with any of it.
I have
I just needed to recut something because I cut it wrong to begin with.
oh, I have a coworker who's having a baby, so I thought I would work on her quilt. There were two coworkers actually. The last one I gave it to her last week, but now I'm working on the next one. So
let me see here. The thread, let's see here. Vicky said I used to use Sulky on my embroidery machine. Hi, Sandra K. Lori says Glide is awesome. Wayne says he uses Gutermann. I have some Gutermann. I just haven't used it yet in my machine.
Yeah.
And Lori says she mostly uses Glide for her embroidery machine.
Oh, huh. Interesting. Yeah, because the embroidery thread comes in some pretty colors and textures. So I was tempted when I see that it says embroidery thread to me, or like serger thread, and it comes on those big cones. It's like, can I use that? So I don't know. People say no, but I haven't tried it.
It's really hard to me, it's really hard, especially because I've only been doing this since 2017. So I'm still what I call myself a newbie. And there's still so many things I don't know about why you would use this thread versus this thread. There's not really a user manual out there that says, well, you should use this because of this reason.
Yeah, and I know most thread companies do have suggestions, and I don't have a card up here with me, but Aurifil has a card that lists out their different weights of thread and the different types of thread that they have and the uses that they recommend you use them for. But for me personally, I'm not fancy, so I'm I'm not a big I don't care. I'll use whatever. I use whatever in my machine that works. If I put something in there and it keeps breaking and breaking, I might take a step back from it. But I really haven't found anything that doesn't work in my machine.
Yeah. The Aurifil to me, because I have to clean my bobbin case quite often, which we're all supposed to do anyway, but I notice that sometimes there's a lot of dust that sits on top of my machine that's caused from the thread.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I don't recall, I used to make all my clothes when I was a teenager. I made all my dresses and skirts because I was in a church that required you didn't get to wear other things. And it was cheaper to go to the store and buy fabric in a pattern because you could make 4 dresses for the price of one $50 dress.
Yeah.
And because back then that's how it was. And I think that it's still not that easy to find dresses affordable anyway. They're still expensive. But I don't recall seeing lint on my mom's machine all the time. I don't even know if I even cleaned maybe she kept it clean. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because once I learned how to read patterns and do it myself, I was always on her machine.
Yeah, once I'm so bad. As many years as I sewed, I did not clean out my machine. I didn't know, so
I didn't either.
Years and years. I started sewing when I was like a teenager,
like me.
Yeah. And so it's like, you don't know that there's something wrong until your machine doesn't work right. And then you're like, well, son of a gun.
I don't even remember if during home economics they taught us that.
Oh, I
because
don't
we learned
remember
how
that.
to make an apron, and I think I learned how to make an apron and hot pads or something. And I don't recall
Mhm.
ever having a discussion about cleaning the machine.
Uh-uh. That's because they did it. You know, the first garment that I made in home economics, we had to make gauchos. Remember
Oh
those?
wow, culottes. Yep, I made plenty of those because of the church.
Yeah, mine were light blue corduroy. And it's
Yeah,
funny
the
because
heavy ones.
they were too small in the crotch, but I didn't know
Yep.
anything about they don't teach you how to tailor or how to make the pattern fit your body. They're just like, get this size pattern, make it exactly as it says. And I was not exactly as it says on the pattern. So
No, I was a little tiny thing. I mean, I had I think a 20-inch waist, but
oh wow.
but the width of my shoulders was 17 and a half inches. So if
Hmm.
you bought a dress that was for a size 8 or size 10, which was around that waist size, I would end up with all of the top being tight because my shoulders were wide. I
Oh
was tiny. I weighed 99 pounds when I graduated from high school. And so there wasn't a weight problem. It was how wide
yeah.
my shoulders was. So what I ended up doing is have my mother measure the width of my shoulder from where you would have a joint at up here,
Yeah.
from that to that. And when she told me, and then when you look at the pattern and it says it's 4 inches smaller, that's why. So
It's
I
like,
have to modify anything where if it wasn't stretchy, if it was like a cotton, because I made a dress uh for my graduation banquet, and it was all cotton. And I had to modify it was a sundress, a long sundress,
mhm.
but it had a jacket that went with it, a short jacket that had tubing going around the outer edges and stuff. I had to modify that so it would fit my shoulders, because if I hadn't, it
Yeah.
would have been too small.
Yeah. That's funny. For my graduation, I made a dress, a summer dress too. And it was white eyelet, and I made like a light blue lining fabric for the inside. And that morning we went to my friend's house for breakfast, and I was doing my fingernails on her couch while I was sitting there, and I was painting my nails, red polish, and it
Oh
spilled.
no.
And it was
Oh
and can't
no.
get that out. And it's like, this is my
No.
graduation dress. I was so upset because I couldn't wear it to the parties afterward. And I had to like kind of safety pin it over so you didn't see the big, and I tried putting white out on it. It was like, as much time on that dress.
Boy,
I
I
loved
bet we could tell some stories, that's for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me see here. Hi Laura. Hi Tammy. Robin Marie wants to know if there's a meaning behind your 1964 shirt.
Oh, that's so funny. I just bought this on Facebook. Um, it's just the year I was born, and my birthday is in June. And I was looking for a shirt for my sister, and I thought I'm going to get her 1963 because that's her birthday. And then I thought, well, I want one too, you know. So I
Yep.
ended up getting us the exact same shirt, the same color, because I liked the color. And so yeah, I just thought it was cool. So I just bought it. That those
You must
Facebook
be
ads,
58.
I'm sorry,
You're 58, right?
59.
15, because I think you and my youngest sister are the same age.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll be
My she's an October baby, so uh she when she graduated from high school, I think she was 17.
wow, so she started kindergarten probably early, because usually the cutoff for kindergarten is September, and if your birthday is in September, you usually have to wait that next
Yeah,
year.
but apparently because my dad was in the Navy and everything else, that must have had some reflection on why she started school early instead of waiting another year.
Oh, so I never asked or you might have told me, but I don't remember what country you're in.
I'm living in Greenland.
So I didn't want to assume. Um, that was that show Vikings Valhalla, I think, and they were the main characters, I think it was Valhalla, they
Yep.
were from Greenland, and the
Yeah,
other
that was Eric the Red and his son Leaf. You know, I don't know if you know the story about Eric the Red or not, but Eric the Red came from Norway, and he was kicked out of his country because he killed a neighbor. So he moved to Iceland because someone had told some friends of his or something had moved to Iceland. And so he moved to Iceland and he lived there relatively violent free long enough to raise his son into young adulthood. And then his son got in an argument with the neighbor, and Eric, being known for his angry self and his red hair, walked next door and killed the neighbor.
Oh.
And so he got banned from Iceland. And a friend of his had stumbled onto Greenland by accident. He had gotten caught in a northern Atlantic storm, and he ended up shipwrecked or boat wrecking on the coast, the southern tip of Greenland. So when he found his way back to Iceland, he told Eric and his friends about, I found this place. I don't know where it's at, but I can give you the general roundabout place of where it might be. And so when Eric the Red got banned from Iceland, he decided he would go see if he could find this place that his friend told him about. And so he did. He found Greenland, and he set up camp in one area of Greenland. And then he spent 4 years hiking around Greenland. And then he got back in his boat, went back to Iceland, and talked his family and some friends. And so I think 16 boats set sail from Iceland to go to Greenland. And how many of them made it, babe? I think maybe half of them made it, and the other half either got wrecked by a bad weather or they turned around and went back to Iceland. So when he made it back to Greenland, he named it Greenland. And I find it comical because while I was in the US this last time, I heard a lot of American people saying, it's strange that Greenland's called Greenland while Iceland is called Iceland, when Iceland's green and Greenland is white. Greenland is green. All of the coastal areas south of the Arctic Circle stay relatively green until about October. And then if the snow comes, then, nothing's green because the snow came. But now global warming has affected the weather even more. So we're staying greener longer and getting green earlier. So he named it aptly because when he came to Greenland, it was all rich farmland, and they brought all their pigs and cows and crops and stuff to raise, and sheep, and that's what they did until they started learning how to eat off seals and other things.
It's so fascinating.
What were you gonna say?
I said that's fascinating because did you watch Vikings, Valhalla, by any chance?
I did. I'm like, wow, they mentioned Eric the Red in this one.
Because that's what they did. I mean, he talked that group of people into going with him to finding that promised land over there. And it's like, so that's fascinating. So kind of
they lived here in Greenland for 500 years, and then they disappeared, and archaeologists still haven't been able to determine what happened to them. We all know that Leif, his son, ended up in Newfoundland, and he was the first Viking to land in that part of North America. But Eric the Red and them stayed in Greenland, and no one really knows what happened to them.
Oh. Now, how long have you lived there?
12 and a half years.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I call myself the Florida transplant.
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
I would have asked the same thing. Is it all ice in Greenland? Just because I only had that one reference and I'm ignorant from the show.
It's got the ice cap, and the ice cap covers about 80% of it. Well, I think that percentage is about to change, though, because there's been such a reduction. But all of the coastal areas, all the way up and down the west coast, as far as I think it's called Umanok, And then as you get further north, there's less green. But nowadays, even up there, I have watched a dandelion, and this is no lie. As soon as we start getting longer sun, because I live 60 degrees north, so that means that by summer solstice, we're getting 22 hours of daylight.
Wow.
So in the spring, the first day is that it stays warm enough in the day. The first thing you see popping out is dandelion plants, and you can pass that dandelion plant, and there'll be nothing on it. Come back by there the next darn day, and there's a flower blossoming on it.
Huh.
That's how fast they
now,
just hurry up and get it done.
Now I have to ask, what do they do at a dandelion plant? What do they, I guess, what, tea?
This is just a dandelion. Dandelions grow anywhere human beings do. Mm. If you go out to nature in Greenland, you will not find one dandelion. It's everywhere that we habitate. And dandelions' purpose is to, what's the term? Human beings make nature become out of balance. And so soils become out of balance because of us. So dandelions fix that problem. They fix nitrogen. And once their job is done, you don't see them anymore.
So who knew I was going to get this history and science lesson today?
Well, I'm a master gardener, so I knew about the dandelion theme.
Oh.
And a lot of people here, some people eat the dandelion. I don't want anything to do with it, but some people actually eat them.
Yeah. Okay, so
I would rather just kill them all.
What's the tapestry behind you, or is that a?
That's actually not a tapestry. That is my Arctic Lights mandala from the Mandala Madness crochet along. It has 32 colors in it, and I used DMC Lily and Red Heart #3 cotton yarn, and that's what I came out with.
Oh, nice! I crochet too, but I haven't in a while.
The cooler colors on it. Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can take my phone up there and let you see it closer.
And so I keep staring at it. It's like, what is that? Can't be a quilt. I'm not able. Should I be seeing something, or are you recording?
No, you should be able to see this screen. Hang on a second. Let me pin it, or let me see if it'll let me pin it. Okay. We always have trouble with this particular camera. All right, I'm gonna spotlight it.
Okay, there you go. Now I just no, I think it's your finger. Is that your finger? It's just like a beige, not beige, but like it's kind of rosy on one side, solid.
Oh, can you see it now?
Oh, wow. That is so cool. Wow. That is, are you making it bigger too, or is that the final?
That's the final. Mm-hmm. It's 120 centimeters across. Hang on. Let me undo this. So it's 120. You're right about my hand being in the way. It's 120 centimeters across. I used 32 colors. It took a year. The crochet along was a year long.
Wow.
And a lot of people were using worsted yarn. And when I saw the size of that finished center, I'm like, no. So I switched to the #3 because I don't have difficulties with that smaller thread, and it's definitely not #8 or #10 because the #8 and #10 are so small I can hardly see it. But with that, I could get away with like a 1.5 to 1.5 millimeter crochet hook to crochet with.
Oh, I used to make
so it's on a hula hoop. It's on 1.5 hula hoops.
Okay.
And then what I did is I took the thread the cotton yarn and I weaved it around the hula hoop,
Oh,
and then me and my husband hung it on the wall.
good idea. That is so cool. I would love to do something like that, but I don't know if where'd I find the time?
Just do one row a month. Whatever, if you go on, if you look up Mandala Madness, you can find the pattern. It's free. And then if you just do, she did it in increments, so many rows per month. Now, as you got to the bigger rows, it'd be maybe one row a month, just depended
Yeah.
on what she was trying to get done in that time frame. But the bigger it got, the longer it took. But yeah, I learned a lot. I only knew simple stitches, and I did 2-year-long crochet alongs. One was this one and the other one was Sophie's Universe. And I learned so many new stitches that I had never done before. So people are saying things in the channel. So let me get back to that. I'm backing up for a minute.
It's okay.
All right. Hi, Katie, and sorry I'm late. Laura said, nope, you're never late. No one's late. So Vicky says, no, Mary, it needs to be very fine weight for embroidery machines. I don't mean the kind that you take umpteen spools of thread. I had the Hazwana diamond when it first came out. She's talking about a machine. Luane says, or you can't figure out why your machine does not work because you have not oiled it. So there must be talking about two things. Lisa says, I made an apron and a skirt in home ec.
Oh,
Vicky says, I also had Vicky says, I also had 500 colors of thread. Wow. Mary, Robin says, wow, Mary, I'm June 3rd, 1964.
oh, happy. Oh, no, it's not yet. It's still coming up. Cool.
Not yet, but soon.
Close. Two Geminis.
Yep. Laura says, my mom wasn't crafty or anything sewing. My grandma taught me everything I know. That's so cool, Laura. Luane says, we 60s babies are aging very well. Yes, we are. Lisa says, Mary, you do not look like you are 59. You look younger. Oh, yep, you do. Laura says, thank goodness she did it. It is how I keep my sanity. Vicky says, I don't think they had t-shirts when I was born for women. I don't know. I don't remember t-shirts when I was growing up until I became a teenager anyway. Vicky says, you 60s kids are way younger than I am. I was having kids of my own. Oh, wow.
And her
Laura
what?
says, Vicky said she was having kids of her own in the 60s.
Oh, yeah.
So she's up in age, apparently. Laura says, Vicky, you are my pop's age. He lives with my husband and me. And Vicky says, Laura, tell him I said hi. Luane says, I love the beautiful colored houses in Katie's village, a town. But thank you, Luane. We have a population of about 3,800. But yep, you'll see colored houses all over Greenland.
Oh, cool.
Laura says, I will definitely do that, Vicky. I had 2 sisters and they don't seem to care. I have an amazing hubby of 35 years that does. Our life isn't what we expected, but we move forward. Okay. Then Laura says, I don't know how I've been blessed, but I thank God every day. My husband is my world. He is my life. And he is why I can move forward in my creative world. Yep. I hear you, Laura, on that one. Lori Colgan says, I am a 60s baby also. And Vicky says, yeah, I am 79 going on 80. Wow.
Oh, good for you.
Cool.
Yay.
So we're all caught up in the chat. So
Yeah.
y'all have any more questions for Mary? Come on, let's get it going. And while you're doing that, I am going to try to start on this block that I've been sitting here staring at for the last 15 minutes.
What the? That did not sound good.
Well, I got the corners done. You want to see the corners? Uh-oh. I just dropped everything on the floor. Here's the corners. That's what the corner's going to look like.
Ooh, pretty. I like those colors.
Thank you.
So do you guys, do you use pre-wound bobbins at all?
I have when I can get my hands on Janome ones.
I just recently bought some because I always thought it was cheating, and now I just love it because I run out of bobbin, I just pop a new one in. It's already wound and
I think the pre-wound ones last longer, in my opinion.
Yeah, because when I wind them on my machine, I swear I only get maybe 3/4 of the bobbin before it stops.
Exactly. I have noticed that.
Right. So
okay, so I have a rectangle here, you guys, and I have a white block. Yeah. So we are making, I guess these are called quarter. It's the center part, Mary. What do you call that? I guess they're quarter half squares. Is that what they are?
They call those. Yeah, and you know the nice thing about this is that we only had to design the picture of the image of the block, and then Baby Log did actually wrote the pattern. So
wow.
If there's any complaints, it does not
go to them, right? Well, I wondered why it wasn't written like the usual fat quarter shop writing.
Yeah, and they probably had to squeeze so much into a small space in their design software or something. I don't
know. Let me see here. Mary, do you have a favorite designer?
Not really. I think before I started designing quilts myself, I was a big Susie Quilts fan. I loved her patterns, her and Lo and Behold patterns I used to buy a lot. And then there was this lady or whoever on Etsy. It was something cottage quilts. I can't remember, but I liked hers because they were traditional, and I really liked traditional patterns. And she had a lot that she kind of put a different spin on, but they were still traditional looking, and they were just really cool. Maple Cottage Quilts, I think that was her name on Etsy. So I bought a lot of hers, but you know, yeah, if it were favorites, I think I bought the most from Lo and Behold and from Susie Quilts. And other than that, I mostly tried to do, I like free patterns. And when Missouri Star came out, I remember every week that they would do their new quilt, I would just be waiting. So I think they came out on like Thursdays or something. And it's like, oh my God, what's Jenny doing today? Because it's something that I need to do. Yep. So I did a lot. So maybe she was my favorite. Maybe Jenny was my favorite because I loved her patterns. I loved that she made them kind of simple. She would like have a little shortcut to get things done. And she just had some really fun designs. So I did a lot of hers. Whoa. Don't think I ever really bought any of her patterns though. I would just watch. You know how we do. We watch.
Yep.
You can figure it out, your yardage, basically. Just by looking.
Sometimes I can just look at a picture and then just decide, well, I want to make this, especially if it's got half square triangles in it, or you can choose what side you want that center block to be, and then you can just guess the rest. You may not be able to know how much yardage you're going to use because you're a newbie like me. I'm a newbie, so I don't know. I haven't learned that part yet. But outside of that, you know, some patterns are not that hard to figure out by looking at them. But I'm a visual learner. So visually seeing things works better for me. Someone made a comment. Let me Vicky says, I really love watching how much the world of quilting has changed since I started to quilt. Then Wayne says, I bought 140 pre-wound bobbins. Laura says she uses pre-wounds anytime she can. Melissa says, I don't use pre-wound bobbins, just the ones I pre-wind. Laugh out loud. Robin says hourglass. Vicky says, Luane, where did you buy 140 pre-wound bobbins? Luane says, Amazon.
That's funny. My
Amazon is the go-to for just about everything these days.
yeah, I buy a lot on Amazon. I bought some quilting gloves, and they're like not a name brand or anything, but I don't know. I probably got like 15 pairs for like $6, and they work fine.
Yep. See, there you go.
My iPad likes to follow me, and I don't know how to change that setting. So
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I don't think it's problematic. If anybody else does,
it's some
well,
ironing. I have this idea, and I'm hoping that this quilt looks okay. I'm sure it'll be fine.
You gonna show us what you're working on?
Well, I'm just making a bunch of strips. I really tried to work with what I already had, and it's a baby boy, and I love prints or florals. So seriously, the majority of my stash are more feminine prints. So I did have to go buy a couple solids, but I'm gonna do these strips. I'm gonna cut them into squares, and then I'm going to cut them into triangles. And then I'm going to, or wait, no, first I cut it into a square, and then I make a half square triangle using some white fabric on top of these. So that's all it is like super, super easy, but it looks really cute. I did the same pattern for Baby Lock, because I'm an ambassador for them. So I made this pattern.
How did you become an ambassador for Baby Lock?
You know, I have to tell you, I had this quilting machine that I had bought secondhand. It was called a King Quilter 18 or a Queen Quilter 18. They didn't even make them anymore. And it was like it had no stitch regulation. It was super heavy. It worked most of the time. It gave me a lot of headaches. And I decided I really wanted a new quilting machine, and I couldn't afford one. You know, those things brand new are quite a bit. And so I thought, I think I'm going to apply to be an ambassador. So I was just looking at different sewing machine companies' websites to see what their rules were for being an ambassador, or the timeline of when they were open for applications. And I initially was looking at Handy Quilter because I wanted the Sweet 16. And so then I ended up going and applying with Baby Lock. Did they have an application? They might have had an application or something on their website. And then after I filled it out, they did an interview with me over the phone with like 2 people. And then I just got it after that. They said, okay, they ask you a lot of questions. They check out your social media. You know, they want you to have sometimes, not always, you know, to have a decent amount of following or have a good social presence on social media. You don't have to have like, you know, 20,000 followers or anything like that. And I think I just got lucky, and they said yes. And they have a contract that you have to sign. They have obligations that you have to fulfill with doing projects, quilt patterns, Instagram takeovers, blogs, you know, just a whole bunch of things that you have to adhere to. And then they said, you know, when they interview you, they're getting a sense of what kind of machine would be good for you based on what you usually work with. What, you know, like if you're an embroiderer, or if you are a long armor and you do quilting, or if you sew garments. So they have like a real wide variety of ambassadors in different fields that are sewists of some kind. And for me, I had said that I wanted to get the, is this on? I said I wanted to have a quilting machine, the sit-down quilting machine, and for the actual sewing machine, I didn't really care. So I have the Baby Lock Lyric for my domestic machine, and then the Regent that has a table for my quilting. So it was just, there's so many opportunities out there and so many companies that are looking for ambassadors. So if you're thinking about it, I would not hesitate to just try. The worst they could say is no. But there's so many companies that you would be surprised.
How many years have you been an ambassador?
This is my 3rd year. And I water in there. They already asked me to, I think my contract ends in October, so they already asked me if I would want to continue. They asked me that pretty early on in the year, so hopefully they don't forget and change their mind in October. But
so how many projects a year do you have to make to remain an ambassador?
I think I have to do like 3 quilts and 3 projects. And
cool.
Yeah, and they belong to them. It belongs on their website. They still give you the credit for it and say that who the designer is who made the pattern, but it lives on their website. So
okay.
And then you just have to do like I have to do like Instagram posts about the machines. And for some reason that's hard for me because I feel like I have to do posts that are teaching something. And it's like, and I do a ton of Instagram reels, but I don't feel like I'm really teaching on the machine. So I need to do more that showcase the machine. And but yeah, so that's it. Just the takeovers. The takeover is once a year. The blog posts are probably, I don't know, probably 3 a year.
Okay, cool. Hi, Teresa Louise. I'm not sure why you didn't get a notification. That's kind of strange. I think something's going on with YouTube these days. Hi, Charlotte. Charlotte says, I use Magna Glide pre-wound magnetic bobbins on my Juki TLIA QVP. Amazon has 100 for $35.
Wow.
Vicky says mine takes plastic, but they are a bit different from the brother bob. Yeah, see, I can't just go buy any pre-wound bobbin. It has to have Janome on it.
Oh, yeah.
I went to
the and I said, what? I went to the quilt store and I said, what pre-wound bobbins go with my machine? And they showed me. So I just did that.
That's cool. That's a great way of finding out. That definitely going and asking is a good idea.
Yeah.
I looked for some pre-wound while I was out, in the US, but I didn't come across any, which means you could see where they had them because they were just sold out. So they must sell them as fast as they get them, apparently.
Oh, yeah. I really like them. They seem to last, because it lasts a while.
I think they do. I mean, to me, they do. Wow, I cannot see that. That's not good. Gonna have to turn it over. I used white as the background, and when you put it on top of, when you put this this Creative Grids ruler on it, you can't see the seam line because I'm using Dove as my thread.
Oh,
where's? So sometimes I find that when you're doing Dove on white, you can't see it at all.
Yeah.
But that's what I like about this color. It blends into everything.
Yeah. I do the Kona bone is my favorite background because it's not white, it's off white.
Well, this is Batiks white. See?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I'm using the Aurifil Dove. So you can't, here, I'll show you what I mean. You can see the seam on this side pretty good. I mean, it really blends in, but it's not that dark. But when you use it on white, you can't see it at all.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, got to turn it over and do the trimming of the block.
Yeah. I'm really excited to try that magnetic thread. I should do a little.
I've never heard of magnetic thread.
I'm sorry. Metallic.
Oh, metallic.
Yeah. See, I can't even. I'm getting old. I can't remember what I want to say.
We all get tongue-tied, especially when we're on the spot. Hello, Shelby. All right, let me see if there's been any. Y'all have any more? Come on, you guys, bring the questions. We need questions so we can make sustenance for everyone. Need those questions so we can feed you guys. I know that sounded really weird, but you know.
You want any show and tell?
Food for thought.
If you want any show and tell, I can show you some of my projects.
Yeah, y'all want her to show some of her projects to you guys? She said she'd be willing to do a show and tell. What about that? Let's see what they say. We've got to wait for the delay and then they'll answer. And I have to show you my Stronger Together before we hang up today.
Yeah.
From last year.
Oh, yeah, that was a cool one, the stars.
I came back with it quilted. Because when I was in Georgia at my friend's house, we quilted it on her long yarn machine.
Oh, nice.
And let me tell you what, I am so happy. The room is not done, Frank. We are waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'm frustrated because I want to get back into the room and can't. So nothing's been done. Shelby says, hey, Katie, I saw Denise. Yeah, thank you, Shelby. I've answered her email. Thank you for sharing that with me. There's yes, please. Yes, go for it. Absolutely. They want you to share some of your stuff.
You know, we all showing our stuff as quilters. Let me go grab it.
Go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pin you so they can see what you're showing. That is a really cool quilt. The camera's turning toward the quilt. You see that? Let me see here. Yeah, Shelby, thank you for doing that. I got up with her once. She emailed me and I took care of it. So thank you so much. Now, you guys, the ones I've been tracking down, you'll get an email from me within the next day or two. You'll know what it's about when you get it. It's nothing bad. Yeah, Frank, it really sucks. We're really frustrated. We want the room done before Nikolai goes back to sea. Okay. Vicky says that sounds great. Mary, I want to see more of your beautiful quilts.
Oh, I was going to show my free motion quilting stuff.
Show all your stuff. You can share whatever you want.
Okay, I can
This
show
is
you
your night.
My latest quilt pattern that I have not posted yet on Instagram. Only because I've been so. I had knee surgery in February and then I just turned into a big slacker and I haven't sent this out to testers. So I gotta get my list together and find my testers and send this. So this is my next quilt. It's called Enchanting Diamonds.
Hey.
So again, you know, strip piecing because I love fast and easy. So it's just a real fun.
So on your strip sets, do you cut your strip sets? Do you buy jelly rolls or do you cut your own strips from yardage?
Mostly I cut my own. Sometimes I buy jelly rolls, but then I'm like, oh, it's too pretty to open. So it's better if I just make them.
I like cutting from yardage.
Yeah, I prefer yardage.
There's just something satisfying about it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fat quarter person. Sometimes I'll do it. I'll put directions in my patterns for fat quarters, but that's only because I know other people like it. Me, yeah, I prefer not. But free motion quilting is like what I really, really love and what I teach. And this is a jacket that I made. Oh, wow. I put the mandala on this.
That's a beautiful mandala.
Thanks. I took a course from Forever Quilting, her mandala course. And this is a take on one of the designs that she shows. So I just put it on my jacket.
It's
But
beautiful.
the funny thing is I use tearaway stabilizer because I didn't know. So yeah, disaster. Because I can't get,
Uh-oh.
I now know for next time. My sister
That's
wants me
how
to
you
make,
learn.
yeah, my sister just gave me her jean jacket that's white. And that's why I thought I wanted to try those metallic threads on it and make the mandala. But here's my peacock. I like to find
Oh,
designs,
wow.
free designs online, and then I just trace it onto my fabric and add in designs. Another thing that I like to do is they call it Zentangle, but it's like just free motion quilting. The Zentangle designs look to be a little bit smaller.
Yep.
But so it's just something fun. Another one. I like working with stencils and then just filling them in.
That's awesome.
Another stencil that I thread painted. There's multiple colors of thread, and you just kind of go over and over and over and over and over it. And it looks really cool. I do a lot of practicing, just trying different things. I don't know, sometimes my brain is like, what would it look like if I did, you know? And so it's like,
Yep.
okay, try it. This
The only way
one,
you're going to find out is to try it out.
yeah. And this was one of the projects I did when I was an Aurifil ambassador. This is like my favorite thing I think I've ever made. And
Wow.
then on the back, I just did swirls.
That's really
But yeah,
cool.
I just kind of, I had an idea in my head. It didn't quite turn out, but I think this looks better than what my original idea was. I also did another one for yarn couching. It's a bag, but it kind of,
that's awesome.
yeah. I was inspired by a pillow that I actually saw in Walmart. And I'm like, oh, that's a cool design. So again, go home, let me try it. And then some more thread painting. Angela Walters does this, and I learned it from her, and now I keep doing it because I think it's so cool. And then just some small things that I made, just experimenting. Do a lot of
wow, those are beautiful. Luane says, wait, Teresa says that is a neat quilt. Then Luane says, oh, she has one of those cameras that follow you. I want one of those. Teresa says, yes, show what you want. We love when people share. And then Teresa says, oh man, I love back quarters. Vicky says, that's a wonderful jacket, Mary. Teresa says, what machine do you use for free motion?
Baby Lock Regent.
Then Frank says, cool. Melissa says, wow. Lori, it's all just stunning. And Teresa says, those are some beautiful designs. And then Vicky says, whoa, I love all your pieces.
Oh, I get carried away sometimes. Yeah, but I have.
Did you enter anything in QuiltCon?
No, I kind of feel like maybe I'm not good enough for QuiltCon. You know what I mean? Or like my designs aren't enough because you have to be modern. And I think, I don't know, I feel like I'm more traditional than modern.
Well, isn't there quilt shows for regular traditional stuff?
Yeah, there are. And I have never, I know that, what is it? The Houston Quilt Festival is a big one. I'd really like to go to that one this year. Out here though, in my area, we have quilt shows that come into town that are on like that circuit. It's that, I don't even know what it's called. And it goes to like the fairgrounds but I never noticed that they do any type of quilt show. It's just vendors.
Well, does your town have, I remember when I lived in Lake City, every fall they had a fair, you know, of course they had the rides and stuff, but inside the barns, they had different categories of shows in there, and people would enter their quilts. I entered ceramics in a couple of shows. I had painted, and but quilting was in there, crocheting was in there. I remember seeing that.
That's
All
true,
different,
Yeah.
all different kinds of fiber. Have you thought about doing that?
I have not, and I should.
Yeah, you should, because it's small time, but it'll, get you exposed to people.
Yeah, I should. I don't know. I see other people's work and I think, oh, well, that's really good. I don't know if,
Did you go to QuiltCon?
Not this year because I had my knee surgery, but I went the past.
Oh, that's right, you did. You told me that.
Yeah,
Forgot about that.
I didn't even know about QuiltCon until I was on Instagram. So, learn a lot there. But I really liked it. It was so fun when I went the first couple times.
I tell you, I came out of there inspired.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's just fun to meet all your friends in person.
Yep. I've been building a batik stash for a reason. I want to make a quilt using 100 colors of batiks in it.
Wow. How are you going to find 100 fabrics?
I'm getting close.
Oh, wow.
I think I'm getting pretty close. Because you can, I have several shades and hues of red. I mean, all colors have hues and shades besides the original color. And you can use them to create, whatever you want. It's just the mantle on the wall. When I told people I used 32 colors, they're like, really? How's that possible? But I did. And if I could have found more, I probably would have put more in it.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And I didn't have a plan of which one I was going to use when. It just, when it was time to start the next row, it just was about what I felt that day. Now you notice that there's a section that's got cool colors on it. There's 2 sections with cooler colors. I think that the reason those are cooler colors is because it was probably either chilly during that time frame or we were having northern lights.
Nice. You still have me spotlighted if you want to take me off.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Nobody wants to look at me full screen.
Oh, sure we do. That's what's fun about this. So Denise said, hi, Denise. Thank you for writing me an email. I'm so glad I caught up with you. I couldn't figure out how to get in touch with you because your email's not over on your YouTube channel. Okay, so Denise says, very beautiful work. Shelby says, I love fabric in all sizes, laugh out loud. So fun looking at all your pretty artwork. And then Vicky says, my age group was all into sunbonnet Sue quilts. I don't even know who that is.
I've always wanted to make one of those. And
then Luane says, Mary, after seeing some of the quilts at QuiltCon this year, I was like, I could do that. As some of them were so simple. Luane's right. There was some there at the quilt store. I mean, at the quilt show. It was amazing, some of the stuff that I saw there. And there was quilts that used lots of color. And the color was in your face, like what I want to do. I want the color to be in your face. And there were several pieces that was in your face. And the other thing is at the back of the show, there was, I think, six or 7 rows that was called Community Project. And they used, I guess the rules were you use purple, yellow, and teal, or any form of the shades or hues off of those colors.
Oh,
who'd have thought that teal would have went with yellow and purple? OMG. It was so many of them. I'm like, wow, I would have never thought of using teal like that. It was so cool.
Yep. I remember in the 80s, I made myself a outfit that had purple pants and lime green blouse with purple on the sleeves. Yeah. So purple and green.
Supposedly purple and yellow are the least liked colors, and I can't
Oh,
imagine
really?
why.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of purple.
And
I
yellow ranks like at the top of a color that most people don't like. And I
Huh.
really don't understand why.
I like yellow. Yellow and
I think
pink.
it depends on the yellow, what color or what shade or hue of a yellow. Like I like this color yellow. And I like
Mm.
the really yummy bright yellows, but if it has that little tinge of green in it, not so much.
Oh, yeah. I made a quilt of oh, what was her name? I can't remember. She's the lady that lives in Amish country and she makes really cool quilts. And one of them I made that was like bright yellow. It was exactly how she had made it in the pattern. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I like that. I want a yellow one for myself. I like it. It's just yellow and white.
Let's
But
see. Katie Sean said 2026 is back in Raleigh. I know, Luane, and I've already been bending my husband's ear about it.
why did they? I don't understand why they're just going back and forth between Arizona and North Carolina.
I don't know. A rumor was saying they were going to be in Texas, but I guess that fell through.
It'd be nice if they came to Colorado. We have a huge convention center. It's gigantic.
Maybe you should write to them and ask them why they can't do one in Colorado.
I should. Yeah.
You're on what, Mountain Time or Central Mountain Time?
Mountain. Right now it's 3:22 p.m.
So, speaking of time, I got to tell you guys something. Remember how I told you last a year, well, not a year ago, last fall when we fell back on our time? No, last spring when we moved our time up an hour. It was the last time we were supposed to do a time change. So when fall rolled around, the United States all fell back an hour, which put an added hour difference between me and you guys. Well, spring comes along, and when I come back from the United States, I was confused because we should only have 2 hours differences between us and our Eastern Standard Time. But right now, it's still 3 hours. Come to find out that whatever reason, the government moved the time up an hour. So we're still 3, 4, 5, and 6 hours ahead of everybody in the United States. So somebody over here, a young lady who has a YouTube channel, she has quite a following. Her name is Q's Greenland, I think. Yeah. I'll have to find the link and show it to you guys. She's starting a what do you call that when you get people to sign it?
Membership?
No, it's where when no, it's when
Oh,
you
a
want
petition.
something to change. Yeah, she's trying to gather 10,000 signatures on a petition to ask the Greenlandic government to reset the time the way that they planned on setting it based on where the sun is here in Greenland in the summer months, which makes good sense to me. And
Yeah.
you know, when they so I was wondering, I told Nicola, I said, this is confusing me because we should have changed, and we did, but not in the way we thought we were going to change. It would change.
Oh.
So we're still the long hours apart from everybody.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I really hate it.
All right.
Someone says they would like, it would be nice if QuiltCon was in Chicago. Luane says, I'd vote a West Coast city. There's a reason why they don't do it in California. Apparently, it's too expensive to do QuiltCon in California.
Oh, huh. Yeah. I don't know.
And if you saw the taxes we pay when you're in, just shopping and going to using hotels, oh my God, the price of a hotel is not just about the price, but it's all the extra little crap you have to pay.
You mean for QuiltCon or just in general?
No, just in general.
Yeah.
You have state taxes you pay on anything you buy, which means you're paying a tax for that at a hotel. Then there's this tax called so it's not a tourist tax, but it has to do with the fact that you're using hotels to stay in.
Yeah.
There's an additional tax besides that.
Yeah.
And it's very annoying.
They get you.
And then now hotels in the United States, for the most part, have started charging deposits. And when you put that deposit down, you might not get that deposit back for 7 to 10 days. But they took it all in one day.
Yeah. I know.
Shelby says they're called resort fees. And then there's local tax. So there's state tax, local tax, resort tax.
Just for fun
that they hit tourists with, or someone traveling like we were.
See, and I thought that the hotels last year at QuiltCon were, well, not last year, at Arizona. I thought it was really expensive. And I'm thinking, this is Arizona. Why is it so high? You know? And we ended up I was in a hotel like 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away. So
yep, it's cheaper to do it like that. We stayed in an Airbnb because I didn't want to pay that high price for the hotel that was right there where the convention center is. I'm like, I'm not paying $300 a night to stay there when I can pay. So it turned out that we found a 3-bedroom Airbnb. So it was me and Christine and my daughter. So it was 3 bedrooms, and it was $6 something a night or something like that. So it was
probably total altogether.
Yeah, total, something like that. And when we split it apart for the 3 nights we were there, we ended up only paying like $250 per person for 3 nights.
Right. Yeah.
And there was nowhere you could have stayed any cheaper except maybe at Red Roof Inn.
Yeah. When I was in Atlanta, we had an Airbnb. And it was so funny because there were a lot of people there that were going to QuiltCon, and it turns out the place we stayed, it was like a high-rise condominium complex, but the majority of the places were rentals and Airbnbs. Yep. But it was nice. We were like 2 blocks away, and I don't know. Sometimes
one thing I learned this trip that I won't do the next trip is I will be renting a car the next go around, because let me tell you what. It costs $40 round trip just to use a taxi to go to Walmart.
Whoa.
And it's just as bad using Uber.
Yeah.
So it's just cheaper to rent a car and be done with it.
If you can find one, you probably got to rent it early.
Yep. Now, once I got down to Florida, I had something to drive. And we road tripped with that truck all over the place.
Yeah.
Because my daughter she inherited it from her grandpa. And when he passed away, and so the truck doesn't get, so it's like 15-year-old truck that only has like 60,000 miles on it. I mean, very little mileage on it. And, they were both a little worried that it might give us trouble, and it never did. The only thing that happened was I killed the battery one night. And then the other thing is on our way back from Georgia, going back home, going back to Lake City, Florida, we had on the right front wheel, part of the steel belt came off the outer part of the tire. And I was on the far inside lane. And I think that I was protected, because as soon as I'm like, we just lost a piece of the tire, but it didn't blow out. And I was telling Nikolai, keep an eye out, because I'm going to cross 3 lanes to get off the road before it blows out, because I was doing 70 miles an hour. And we got off the road and onto the emergency ramp, and as soon as I pulled off and stopped, the tire blew out. Ooh. So the truck was in a stop position when it happened. So thankfully, we didn't get hurt. Vicky says, yes, the average person can't afford a motel unless they share a room with at least 8 other people, and the food cost is outrageous. It's outrageous worldwide, you guys. This is not an American thing. Shelby says, and hotel and entertainment taxes are in addition to resort fees. That's right. Frank says the squeeze is on. Vicky says, Mary, you can quadruple that cost in Arizona, and that's what you would probably pay in California. Yep. Agreed.
Oh.
Wayne says my room for PHX is already booked. Will be like a 10-minute walk from the center. Teresa says, I know, Katie. When I took Brandon to have medical procedures, the cheapest I could find was $150 a night. Yep. Wayne says, I go to Expedia to find room and have seen a few apartments for rent. Vicky says the only way to go to something like QuiltCon is if you have a very mini RV. And Teresa says, I'd like to find a camper for the back of my truck. And Frank says, good job, Katie. Yeah, one of the things that I've learned about traveling from Greenland to the US is if I can get my flights bought at least 4 to 6 months in advance, I will save a ton of money. If I pre-book hotels 3 to 4 months or up to 6 months in advance, I can get it for a cheaper rate. If I wait till the last minute, I'm going to be paying high price just like everybody else.
Well, some places don't let you book hotels that far out, do they?
A lot of places does because you can use booking.com or you can use Sonesta. Hey, you guys, speaking of Sonesta is a hotel chain that when I was in, when I landed in Raleigh, I stayed in a hotel for 2 nights and I hem-hawed back and forth between 3 of them before I made a choice. And so I chose Sonesta. I took a leap of faith and hoped that it was fine because it was the cheaper of the 3 that was near the airport. When I got there, they had a tram that comes and picks you up from the airport to the hotel. When I checked into my room, OMG, the room was extraordinary. It had a king-size bed inside of it. It had a sofa, a TV, a big, huge window with a scenic thing out the window, and it was $70 a night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Now they don't serve breakfast, which it's okay. The other thing about them was their little tram they gave you this list of places to eat, and those places to eat on the hotel list were places that you'd go down there and say, I want to go eat at Waffle House. They take you in the tram to Waffle House. You don't have to pay to use the tram.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So we found another Sonesta hotel, me and Nikolai, in Jacksonville, and we stayed at that one. And that one probably had to have had at least 400 or 500 rooms. And the room that we stayed in had a little mini kitchen in it. It was totally amazing. And we only paid $75 a night for it.
I don't think I've heard of Sonesta. There's a Sonesta Lanes bowling alley over here, but I don't think I've heard of a hotel that was Sonesta.
Yeah. But they have rewards program just like Red Roof Inn does. And once you rack up a certain amount of points with booking.com, then you can start getting like a 30% discount off rooms too. So, and then I also have a rewards program through Comfort Suites, because Comfort Suites is worldwide.
Yeah.
So I stay at a hotel called the Clarion out at in Copenhagen that's attached to the airport. And I can set up that room 6 months in advance and save a lot of money. But if I wait till the last minute to do it, I'm going to pay high price just like anybody else that waits till the last minute to set it up.
That's nice to be hooked onto the airport.
Yep. You go through this little hallway to the airport and you never have to walk across the road or anything. Yeah. And the metro's attached to the airport as well.
Nice.
I like to use it when I'm flying by myself. When it's me and him, sometimes we'll stay at a different Comfort Suites that's like in Vesterbro or something, where we can go mill around inside of Copenhagen without having to, use expensive taxi driving or anything like that.
Yeah.
I like to use the train though. I've enjoyed being on a train.
Very cool.
Are you getting killed over there, Nikolai? Oh, he has headsets on. He's not hearing anything. He's over there gaming.
Is that your husband?
Yes. You want to say hi to him?
Sure.
Oh, he's gonna have to put a shirt on.
You gotta be.
They want to say hi.
I get killed, I'll blame you.
It's always my fault when you get killed.
Yeah. That's because you disturb me all the time.
Which game are you playing?
Command and Conquer.
Oh, of course. That's why I hear grumbling over there. This is my husband, Mary.
Hi.
How are you?
Say,
I'm good, and you?
Good. Just chilling, hanging out.
this is the reason I live in Greenland.
Oh, what brought you out there?
Him?
Me.
Oh, you
He's a
met
green.
him.
Yeah,
It
he's
was-
a Greenlander.
Oh, okay.
He's
So do you
one of
like-
the indigenous.
Oh,
Hi,
That's-
Lori.
But he's been participating in some of the lives, building Legos and helping me a
Oh.
little bit with people in the channel. So everybody's been getting to know him too. Look, see?
Hi, Math.
By the way, her name is Shelby.
Oh, man.
Math geek Shelby.
Math geek. Yeah, yeah. Hi, Frank.
So far, we got this much of the block done.
oh yeah, looks pretty already. I
Yeah.
like those colors.
Yep, I think the block is going to be pretty when I'm finished. I need to get the rest of them out so I can show. I should just surprise everybody and get them all sewn together first.
So how
Elaine
long-
says, I was disappointed in Red Roof Inn. I stayed at most of them are very nice. The room was great, but the elevator was on that last leg. No food close by, and the vending machine ripped me off. Oh no. I hope you wrote on Google about that, Luane. Shelby, honey, Shelby says she loves your Iron Maiden shirt.
What?
Shelby says she loves your Iron Maiden shirt.
Thank you.
And Shelby says to meet you, you wouldn't know I'm a 80s metal fan, laugh out loud. You'd be surprised what kind of music we listen to.
Yeah.
It's weird with us, we've known each other a long time before we got together. And then when I moved here after we got married, and I was going through because he has music in these notebooks, he took them all out of the containers and put them in there to save space. And I'm going through there and I'm like, wow, he likes a lot of the same music I like. And we never talked about we never talked about music that much or religion that much. It was always about everything else.
Yeah. Well, it was a
All
perfect
right,
match.
now here. Go ahead.
And I said it was a perfect match.
Yep. We have a really good relationship, don't we, baby?
I don't know.
Hey,
Gotcha.
you always getting me.
Always.
Okay, Teresa, thank you for coming by, and I hope you can come back. Frank says, long live rock. That's right. I tell you, I find it alarming that there's not so much popularity with it these days. Looks like it didn't cut enough. Oh, really? No, wait. I cut enough. I don't think I.
Got one here.
Oh, looks like I need to cut 2 more yellow ones because I'm not going to have enough. Because I need for 4. Oops. Somebody didn't cut enough.
You too.
They're probably hungry.
I know they're hungry.
And she's going to start griping if she doesn't get fed soon. I have a Dotson that will tell you, feed me. And when you don't feed her, she starts making racket about it.
Oh.
And then the racket, she'll start out with this little whimper. And then that whimper starts to get louder and louder.
Yeah.
You can always let her in here, babe. Then she won't be acting like that.
Acting like an idiot.
Yeah, she can come in here.
Want to go tissue? Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'll drop back in a second for hey.
Okay, baby. 3 1/4. Oh, Coda must need to go bad.
Oops.
We have 2 dogs.
Oh yeah, ask them a question if they're getting dark there where they are.
Nikolai wants to know if it's getting dark where you're at right now.
Not for me.
It's almost 9 o'clock here and it's still daylight.
Oh, I don't know how I would get used to that.
Your body, well, I don't know. I mean, the first 2 or 3 years, Nikolai, he would call me on the weekends, checking on me when he was out at sea. And he could tell I must have not been in the house because he'd say, "What are you doing?" "I'm down at the harbor taking pictures of icebergs." And he says, "Do you have an idea what time it is?" No. It was 1:30 in the morning. He'd catch me down there taking photographs of icebergs.
Yeah.
No sense of time whatsoever.
Do people tend to be out on the streets more because it's light at that time of night, or no?
Well, maybe not necessarily as late as I was, but a lot of times you'd see kids running around till 10 and 11 o'clock at night. And I'm thinking, you guys got school tomorrow? Why are you even outside? Where's your parents at? Because I don't understand that. Because my kids would be in bed 9 o'clock sharp.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it tends to be that way. And some of us, I have curtains in our room that I put, I don't know, it's called light. It's supposed to prevent less light from coming through the curtains. But it doesn't matter. I will always be a night owl no matter what. Because I was a night owl before I moved over here.
Oh.
So, it's not unheard of to see me going to bed at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning anyway.
My gosh.
Can't help it. I don't sleep good. Too many. Well, I used to have bad dreams, and then those stopped for a while. And then that problem with my sewing room happened and triggered nightmares again. So I went through about 4 months of having bad dreams again. But now I'm not having them, and I'm finally going to sleep around 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm actually tired and I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see what else is being said in the channel.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yes, okay, so Luane says, Shelby, I think a lot of us were shocked when we met you. Lori says, are you still looking to get another dog? Yes, because we're going to have to make a decision about Coda at some point. And we can't have Nora without another dog. I'm afraid it will traumatize her if we don't do something. Lori says it's all bright and sunny here. Vicky says it's still light in Michigan. Denise says not yet. It's only 4:41 p.m. It's 9 here. So, oh, wait. Yeah, it's about to be 9. Luane says, so forget going home when the street lights come on like we did back in the 70s and 80s. Laugh out loud. Frank says it's 5:40 here in Florida. And Denise says, I'm starting to be a night owl. I became a night owl because when my son was born, my second child, he never would sleep. And I didn't know why he didn't want to sleep. And when he did sleep, he would stop breathing in his sleep.
Oh.
And so I had to learn, I ended up having to move him into my bedroom because I couldn't hear him stop breathing. Because back then I didn't have a child monitor.
Yeah.
And so he slept in my room and I learned how to be a cat napper. And eventually it became a sleeping problem. I couldn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
And he isn't a night owl himself, but he finally had surgery to fix what was causing the problem. And after that, he started sleeping at night.
That's good.
Yeah, his adenoids was blocking 75% of his airway.
Wow.
Yep. And when you're an asthmatic on top of that, that's very bad. Are you about to oh, talk about rock and roll, you guys. Check this out. Some of them's probably seen that, but some may not have.
Oh.
Anyone want to know what album that's off of?
Rolling
Who can name the name of the album?
I do not know the name of the album.
Do you know the name of the band?
Yeah. Everybody knows the name of the band.
But you know what it's made of?
Oh, yeah. Show it up close where she can see it, baby.
Mm-mm. Is that Legos?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Legos has advanced. Wait, Lori says Rolling Stones.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Three more.
I used to work late swing shift and graveyard shift. This is the first day I've been awake all day. Wow.
Yeah.
Your body gets used to doing that, you know?
True.
We stayed at a hotel in Lake City called America's Best something. It was pretty affordable to stay there, but I had request when I first got there. I was so sick because I came from QuiltCon, and I was checking into the hotel, and I told the lady, I said, I don't think that I can climb upstairs, is what I told her.
Mm-hmm.
And put me in a bottom, on the bottom floor. She says, I can do that. And she says, you don't look like you feel very good. I don't. And she, and I came in there at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and normally you can't get in a hotel until 3. And, I had pre-set myself up for being there. And I told her, I said, is there any way you can get me in a room? I am so sick and I cannot sit in this truck for 3 hours waiting when I need to lay down because I had a fever and, I was just really sick. And she says, let me see what I can do. She did some finagling and they got me in a room at the back of the hotel on the bottom floor, like what I wanted. And it was a lovely stay,
Mm-hmm.
for what, you paid for. And then, uh-oh, are we supposed to be coming?
No uh-ohs.
Yeah, I need to make sure I'm not doing something wrong here. Hang on a minute, you guys. I got to check something. Oh, okay. No, I just thought I was putting it on here wrong, but I'm fine. Anyhow, so the next time we stayed was when Nikolai got there, and we ended up on the second floor, and the front faced Highway 90, which is a 4-lane highway that goes through there. It was so loud and so noisy. I just wanted to scream. I told Nikolai, I'm like, because this town we live in, it's gotten moderately noisy because of all the building going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're hearing Harley Davidsons coming in and out and tires being squealed and sirens going on, and you didn't hear none of that at the back of the hotel. So the next time, the third time we came back to stay there, I said, please put us at the back of the hotel. Don't put us on the front or the top. And they didn't. They put us in what we wanted.
Yeah. That's a hassle. What a bummer.
Yeah, because you're not used to all that noise. That's one of the things I experienced when I first get back to the US. Everything is so loud and so noisy.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. I'm going to have to change. Oh, no. Yep. I'm going to have to re-seam that one. Looks like.
So how long have you had your YouTube channel?
Since June of last year.
Oh. I have
So
one, but I haven't done as much. I need to get on that.
it's a lot of work, I've discovered.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And when I was gone to the US, I think my viewership went down because I was gone too long.
Oh, I haven't posted in like months. I really need to. It's just hard to do all the different mediums, all the different socials and
I mostly just keep up with Facebook, and I do post on Instagram every so often, but I don't keep up with it like I do Facebook because I have a private Facebook and I set up a group for the Greenland Quilter channel, but outside of that, it's mostly been YouTube, but it's a lot of work. It's
yeah.
editing videos. Oh my gosh, it's so much work.
Nora.
I'm gonna have to take this out and do it again. Darn it.
Okay, well, I think I got all my half square triangles ready to go. Oops. Those are wrong.
Denise says to us, how did you two find each other? I found Mary on Instagram because I found out who the designer. I got this brilliant idea of why don't I go see if I can track down the designers of Stronger Together and see if I can't get them to come over to my YouTube channel and let me interview you guys and talk about Stronger Together and how you became a quilter. And it helps expose people of color to other groups of people, which something that Katy told me was that the more people who talk about people of color's patterns and quilts and stuff, the more it gets their names out there so people will buy from them. And that makes good sense to me. So that was one of my goals is uh, uh, having diversity in my channel so that it wasn't just one way and that's it.
Yeah.
So I approached all four of them, and two of them, the Katy and oh my,
Dresser.
yeah, they've answered me. I still don't think I've talked to Joelsen yet though. But somebody interviewed her recently. I don't know who interviewed her recently that I watched an interview with her.
Oh.
But anyway, I'm trying to make my channel really diverse, and it's starting to look diverse, which makes me very happy.
Yeah. It's a good thing. That's why when I had my membership, it went really well, and it was fun, finding all those new quilt pattern designers of color. And initially when I did my membership, I was just going to do like Black people or African American designers. And then I realized I can't do that because there's just not enough. There's not as many.
There's not a lot. Yeah.
No. So that I just did all people of color. And that opened it up more, but even still it was still a struggle sometimes to find those designers.
Yep.
So,
and or find enough men out there to talk to, incorporate them into it, or incorporate the other types of diversity, like Ian's diverse because he's gay, and and I want to make sure that there's total inclusion into my channel.
Yeah, that's good.
And if you can do it, then you should do it. Do the right thing. I grew up in a household that was full of, let's just say this: my parents were bigots, and I grew up hating some of the language that came out of their mouths. Yeah. And I raised my children to love all people, not those with white skin.
Yeah.
And to be frank, since we're talking about this, my children are part Japanese, and then the rest is, white. And So my first husband was half Japanese. My second husband, the one you just met, he's half Inuit, half Danish. See a trend there?
Yeah. So, does he speak a different language?
He speaks 3 languages.
Oh.
He speaks Greenlandic, English, and Danish.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it's hilarious watching him. We'll be in town and we'll run into some friends. And I stand there sometimes with my mouth almost hanging open because he'll be talking to me in English, answering somebody in Danish, and answering a Greenlander in Greenlandic. And there's this conversation going around in a circle that's Greenlandic, Danish, and English. And I absolutely don't know how he does it.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
I find it hard enough just trying to think Greenlandic words when somebody says something to me in Greenlandic. Denise says, I had never heard of Stronger Together until you. I only watch YouTube. Well, how I know about Stronger Together is from watching Kimberly's Qaqortoq YouTube channel live. She started that first one 4 years ago. And when I looked at it, I'm like, I was all for raising money, but I didn't really know if I liked the pattern that much. So I downloaded it, but I didn't get around to making it. But then when the next one came out, which I have, I'll show it to you guys. I'll go and get it.
The one that you showed?
The one that's in the drawer. Well, there's that one, but there's also the one in the drawer. It's in the 3rd drawer, that white chest of drawers in the corner. It's the one with the batiks on the front, the really bright, warm colors with the turquoise going through the middle of it. There's more than one quilt in that drawer. I had to find a way of storing my quilts. See, right now I have 3 finished quilts. As soon as I put the binding on this Stronger Together, that'll be number 4. And then I'm finishing one that someone paid me for that goes to a new home and I have to bind it. So that'll be like my 5th finished quilt since 2017.
Oh, good.
You know, so I'm getting better at things.
Yeah. And you're
Hi,
not.
Donna from Dragonflies.
I don't know how it looks like, so I just leave it be.
Well, you come entertain the channel while I go get it.
Me entertain them? Heck no. Heck no, woman. Nah. It's your channel, not mine. Nope, it's yours. Mainly yours. We always teasing each other.
Yeah.
Never a dull moment with me when I'm around near her.
So how do you like it when you go to the States compared to being there in Greenland?
Oh, I had a lot of fun. Lots to see, and seen some from the movies that I've seen. Like let's just say that when we were in Georgia, where that Redwood Inn, there was a parking spot where there was a NASCAR vehicle there.
Oh, yeah.
And I seen a Tom Cruise movie where he was playing a NASCAR driver.
Oh,
And seeing it for real, even it's a wreck, nothing hardly in it, but even seeing it in for real, it's like that. I've seen it as yes.
Yeah.
And I've seen, of course, I would love to see the what was it? Museums for the military. I'm a military geek.
Oh, Tom Cruise and Maverick, Top Gun, and those.
Yeah,
those are cool. It's fascinating that whole thing.
What was it? Last time we were in California, I think I saw a B-17, which is like.
Yeah, we did, and next time we go to California, we're going to try to hunt it. We came across it by accident because I got us lost. We were trying to. We were trying to go to
force.
some forest thing, and we ended up in Timbuktu. So anyway, we eventually found the forest place, but yeah, but that's how we came across the airplane. Okay, let me comment on a couple things. Don't run off. You're gonna help me with this.
Oh.
Vicky says, I know, I was Frank. I worked for a tribal casino and I was the first white person they hired. And then Vicky says, I have had never experienced anything like that in all my working years. Only lasted 5 years, and my hubby said I could quit and stay home. Frank says, I was an unwanted Irishman in a Polish factory. What in the world? Frank says. Then Donna says, come on, Nikolai, entertain us. And then Frank says, or Vicky says, oh, Frank, that must have been awful. I agreed. What a world. So are you from Ireland? And Frank says, oh, how was the vet? Oh, they want to know about the Corvette.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun.
He got the, okay, so this one is 2022.
Yeah, that's the first one I did. I liked that one a lot. Yeah, it's cool. She did a good job on that.
And this is the back.
I like that fabric. Oh yeah.
Thank you.
I never piece my backs like with blocks. I'm too lazy.
That's probably the most piecing I usually do because I put a quilt label in there. See the label?
Yeah. I like it.
Okay, so this is 2022. This is the one that I took with me to the US this year to quilt it. And so now it's quilted. I just gotta bind it. But I'll show you the back first. So this is the back.
Mm-hmm. More piece
Can you
back.
see the quilting?
Kinda, yeah.
Here, let me spotlight myself. Okay, now let's see if you can see it or not. You might not be able. Oh, she might can see it. Can you see the quilting?
I can see some of the stitching, but
here, let me turn it around. Now this is the front.
I really like that one. That is so cool. I like the dark. Oh, okay. I can see the stitching more. I love that. Nice work. Did you do that?
The quilting was done by my friend Christine in Georgia. It was a gift because I won iron for this one from Qaqortoq. But can you see the stitching?
Yeah, that's cool.
And then we did what do you call it? Trapunto.
So you filled them with the.
Yeah, they have a little bit. The stars have a little bit of filling in them.
Yeah, oh, cool.
Just the stars do. And then each of the blocks have that diamond design. They're mountains, is what they're supposed to be.
It's really good.
Thank you.
Nice work. Yeah.
So the one I'm working on now is also batiks, and I don't have an idea what the back's going to be yet, but that usually happens.
Yeah.
When something talks to me.
I never have my backing until I'm done with my quilt top. I never buy together. I'm only concerned with my top, and then I'll worry about the back when I'm finished.
Yeah, sometimes backing doesn't happen until it presents itself to me. The quilt is not going to be mine anymore. I want to show you some of the quilting on it. Christine did this too, and her quilting is just, I'm just amazed.
Oh yeah. See, that's what I like about long arm is you can make those big stitches.
Yeah, she has a 12-inch long arm. I mean 12 foot.
Yeah,
and I forget how long the neck is on that thing. But it's I forget the name of the quilt. I mean the name of the long
about
arm.
18 to 20.
I don't know if you can see the star or not.
Yeah.
So the front side is exploding star pattern.
Oh, I've made that one too. Susie quilts.
Yeah, the pattern's by Becca, and then I pieced it. Here, we'll show the front of it. This one's really big, you guys. Oh, look what's stuff down in there that I didn't know was in there. That's gotta be put in the mailbox.
Oh no, I'm thinking of did I do that one? That's not Susie Quilts or
No, this is Becca's.
Becca.
Of So Becca.
Oh.
Becca of So Becca.
Welcome back, Teresa. Teresa Louise.
You know, let me see if I can hold it up better.
That is huge. That's like a king size.
Yeah, it's quite big.
That's cool. Yeah, yeah. Nice to have the long arm to do that.
Definitely. Because I had told Christine that I was going to quilt it on my machine, and she says, just put it on the bed and we'll fold it later.
Right.
Just lay it on the bed. Don't let the dogs get on it, because that's got to go to Nuke or wherever it's going. But you're taking it with you.
Oh.
I just got to bind it, and I got to get that done this week. But I mentioned something about quilting it on my machine, and Michelle says, bring it with you. We have time, we'll do it. And we had stayed at her house, and my son and grandson live about an hour from her house, and so we did a switch. She drove me over there, and she picked up Blaze, and I stayed with Thomas because I had to help Thomas with a bunch of stuff. And so while I was over in Carrollton, Blaze was in Powder Springs with Christine and Nikolai and Darius, her son. So the whole weekend, all in one day, she quilted that big quilt in one day.
Wow.
And then when I came back, we spent probably about a day doing the Stronger Together one, because she spent more time on that one. Okay.
That's cool.
Hi, Pat. I'm late. No one's ever late. Anyway, back to sewing.
Yeah, I'm hoping my next machine from Baby Lock is a long arm on a frame. I told him that already, but that's what I wanted.
I want a long arm, but we have no space.
Yeah, I think it'll be tight in my sewing room, but I think I can make it work. I just gotta,
as much as I would love to have one, I just don't see how that's possible.
And they have like 8-foot frames, so you don't have to do the 10 or 12.
Yeah, but how do you do a big quilt like what you just saw on an 8-foot frame?
Yeah, because what's a king size? Is that like about 108 inches typically?
Yeah, I think that one's 105 by something, I believe.
What's that divided by 12 for like frame size?
Yeah. So I'm not sure how you quilts like that.
12 times, so a 12-foot frame would be able to do 144 inches.
Yeah, the really big ones.
Yeah. 10-foot. Yeah, I think I would need like a 10-foot. I'm not going to use it as a business, so I don't think I would have to have a 20-foot frame or whatever.
I think that Christine should do it as a business, but she says she doesn't want the stress of it.
Yeah, it takes the fun away.
That's what she said. She thinks it would take away from the enjoyment of it. Because when you looked at the quilt, when I saw the quilting on the big one, I went in there and I said to her, I said, you must have been having a really good time, because the way she did it, she started out with a plan and then she modified the plan.
Yeah.
Because that's all freehand. That's not a computer that did all that. She done that. And she says, yes, when I got started on it and my brain just went into work mode, and she said she literally was having a good time quilting it. And that's why she went with it. Originally, we talked about, let's just keep it simple. Don't spend too many hours on it because it's going to so-and-so anyway.
Yeah.
And, and she probably put at least $300 worth of work into the quilting part of it, which he got for free. More or less. So I told Nikolai, I said, when you take it back to Anna, make sure he knows that he got $300 worth of work for free.
Yeah.
Because it's a story about this quilt. What has it been, 2 winters now or 1 winter?
2.
2 winters. Yeah, in December, when they were home for Christmas. No, it was before Christmas, right, babe?
Yeah.
Anyway, he came over and we played poker together, and we were drinking Crown while we were playing poker. And he had seen some of my stuff on the wall in there, and he says, how much would it cost me for you to make me a quilt? And I said, well, that depends on what size you want. And he says, a big one. But he wasn't too specific. Just,
Yeah.
a nice size one. And originally I thought it was going to be for their bed at home. I didn't realize he was going to try taking it on the ship, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to have it on the ship because it's too big. Anyway.
Too big.
So I went off the top of my head and I said, oh, I don't know, $500. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I didn't know what pattern I was going to use or anything else. I just guessed.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time somebody has asked me to make something.
Yeah.
And Teresa Louise will tell you, we've had this discussion previously, why didn't I get a down payment on the quilt, blah, blah, blah kind of thing.
Oh.
Because I didn't think I needed to. We shook hands on it. So back in I want to say April, I think, of this past year, 2023, I told Nikolai, I said, I want to contact Anda, because I had already got the quilt top done. It was done within like a month, but I still didn't have backing or anything. But Cotton Cuts was about to start the next PMQ sign up, and I wanted to buy a full kit, and the best way to buy a full kit is to have cash. The amount that the quilt kit costs. And I got to thinking, well, if I can get Andy to pay me half down on the quilt, since I got the quilt top part done anyway, that's enough money to put the full amount of money down on a full kit. So we contacted him, and he agreed that he would pay me half of it. And he paid a little less than half of it. But then in September, I had intended upon finishing the quilt by September of last year. And I wanted him to go ahead and pay me the rest of the money I was owed before I finished it, because I wasn't going to send it with Nikolai without my money in the bank account, because I just felt like I needed to do that. Well, Nikolai had called him on the phone, and you could hear there was a fight going on in the background, but that they were involving Nikolai in the middle of. And basically his girlfriend was saying that I was lying about the original price of the quilt, and that Anda had lied about the original price of the quilt. They didn't owe us the other half, blah, blah, blah. And Anda had to hang up. And I told Nikolai, I said, no money, no quilt. Yeah. Doesn't matter, he gave me half the money, and I'm going to keep the half of the money he already gave me, because we made an agreement.
Yeah.
So December rolled around, and he called Nikolai, and he says, I want to pay the rest of the quilt off. She can still get it to me whenever she feels like it. Because he knew, I don't know if Nikolai told him I was upset, but I had folded it up and put it away. I was done with it.
Yeah.
Then he paid the other half of it, which got me another full kit from Cotton Cuts. So when I came to the US, I brought the quilt with me to finish it.
Oh. So now you just have to deliver?
Yeah, just have to bind it, and then I think I'm going to make a little pillowcase to put it in, so that it, transfers without any problems.
Yeah.
And then I'll never see it again, probably.
Yeah, when I first started my Etsy, I did it because I was making quilts to sell. And I did really good, but then I guess there were just those stragglers that nobody really liked, and they just sat there. But I don't know. because I would do custom, and now I'm like, nope, no custom, because people would contact me.
I didn't.
Well,
I don't think that he would have ever done what would have happened if he wasn't involved with this crazy person he's involved with. Because he's usually a man of his word. And for him to go back on his word really ticked me off.
Yeah.
Because, people are supposed to still be honest this day and age, but
It's hard. I had one lady who wanted a quilt, and it was the cat quilt that Jenny Doan had done. And she said that, seeing that was my fault too, because she's like, well, I want it to be in different colors of pinks and blue. And I was like, okay, I'll just get some fabrics that I think would look good, and I'll send you a picture of them. And so I went to Joann's and I got like, a quarter yard of different things. And then she would pick like maybe 2 that she liked. And so then I would keep going back and I would get some. And finally she had agreed on all of them. And then she told me she wanted a specific design to be free motion quilted on top. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Well, after I finished the quilt top only, and I sent her a picture of it, and she's like, you have one of the fabrics in there that I told you I didn't like. It was scrappy, mind you. And so she's like, I'm not paying for it. And I was like, whatever.
Oh, no.
So same thing. I didn't get any money up front or anything. I just trust people. So I ended up just posting it on my Etsy, and somebody bought it. So, but yeah, it's hard to do custom stuff for people. You just don't know.
I definitely learned a lesson to make sure that, if somebody's going to agree to something, we're going to get money up front to make sure that it's secured down. I don't do this because I didn't know any better. How was I supposed to know?
Yeah.
And I had talked about it. Teresa remembers the conversation, I'm pretty sure, because I had mentioned it in one of the chats when a live was going on, and all of them told me the same thing, that I should have gotten some money or all the money up front.
Live and learn, huh? We don't know.
If you don't know, no. And there's something wrong with this. Why is this not lining up like I want it?
Yeah, I did a lot of those. I had one lady did, one, because like I was saying, I'm pretty sure if it's not Susie Quilts, it's Lo and Behold that has that other exploding star quilt. And a lady
somebody else thought it was the other one too.
Yeah, a woman had twins and she wanted 2 of those quilts in the exact same colors. And then I didn't realize they were twin boys. I did the same thing with the fabric. She told me the color scheme she wanted. I bought the fabric and she was fine with all of them except for one, which was okay. And after I gave them to her, she's like, oh, my boys are going to love these. They're going to look great on their beds. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's got boys? Because I like using the white on white, for my background for some of my quilts. And it was like a flowery kind of print. And I was like, oh, shoot. I go, you never said. And she okayed all the fabrics, but I told her, I go, it's kind of a flowery print. And I didn't realize that you had boys. But she was fine with it. She's like, oh, it's okay. You can't even see it. So that worked.
That's really cool. Let's see. Frank, how did you wind up working in a Polish job? Vicky says, do you live in Poland? Hi, Brenda. And Brenda says, hi, T. Teresa says, hey, Brenda. Hey, Frank. Grace has a 5-foot frame that can do any size quilt because it's a hoop style frame. Oh, didn't know that, Shelby. Frank says the 4 dragons, that rest for no man. Oh, I don't know what that means. But he lives in Florida now. Vicky says that one state I did not like living in. I lived in Lecanto near Inverness, and I must say I hated it. I was so unhappy to go back, and I was so happy to go back to Nevada. What did you not like about Florida? Frank says, I know of Canto and been here 30 years, Miss PA. And then Frank says, watching the weather. Denise Matu, hello. I stopped doing commission work too. Denise says, now I feel so much better. I know that sooner or later someone will like what I have made and I can be totally free form.
True.
Y'all got any other questions for Mary? We've been waiting.
Is my sewing machine really loud when I'm on the camera?
No, because I'm using Zoom, and Zoom has these settings that take care of sewing machine loudness.
Okie dokie.
Well, see, I have a whiny dog too, so my machine's not loud actually, but I've noticed other people. What are you sewing on right this minute?
Baby lock lyric.
Okay, so yeah, she's still in the baby. Okay, so you have 2 baby locks.
Yes, they gave me 2, a sewing machine and a quilting machine, because I do both.
Okay. Well, I sew on a Janome 6700P. But a lot of people sew with the Juki, that TL 2010 or whatever it's called, and to me
Yeah.
it's so loud. I'm like, you need to have ear plugs.
I remember seeing a Juki long arm in the store like years ago before I bought my used one, and I wanted it so bad, but I applied for the credit and I was denied, and I was like, oh, that's when then I found the used one. And even the used one was still $3,000, you know?
Yeah, they're not cheap.
And then I ended up giving it away to a woman in my guild for free. I said, I'm giving away this long arm. Whoever wants to come over and get it can have it. And the lady that took it was really frustrated with the stitching, because it was an older machine. It kind of takes a little bit of finessing to get the stitches right, and she just didn't have the patience, and so she ended up getting rid of the machine. It's like, God, I paid $3,000 for that used. It wasn't a bad machine, but oh well, it was hers to do what she wished. I gave it to her, but
yeah. If it's a freebie, you don't get to complain about it.
Yeah. I tried to go over there several times and I helped her. And then when I got there and I was working, she's like, well, how come it works when you're here? It's like, okay.
Probably because you were doing the right thing and she wasn't.
I mean, that machine that machine gave me some fits. I took it in for service so many times, sometimes like twice a year, trying to get it figured out. And it was just old.
So all of y'all that are in the channel, what machine are you currently sewing on? Share with us in the channel what you're sewing on. Your type of machine. What machine do you like to use the most? Let's see what y'all tell us.
This is great. I think I'm going to have this all my blocks done tonight because this is so fast.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
And I might eventually get this one done.
But like I say,
I'm not griping. I'm just saying I might get it done someday.
Yeah, it took me a minute with all the pieces and the way they wrote the instructions. So yeah, I did have to be
the instructions are one of the things I think that I wish that there was like feedback or somewhere where you can post about pattern makers and stuff, and like say, not everybody can read a pattern in the same way. Some of us are visual learners. And when you see pictures, you get more out of it than what you read. I mean, I can read just fine, don't get me wrong. But people's writing styles of quilt patterns are different too.
Yep, they are.
And sometimes how you read it and how another person reads it and understands it are 2 entirely different things.
See, and usually when you send it to the tech editor, they give you like a second opinion on how they think something should be worded if you have something kind of confusing in there to help out. So,
and I have come across a couple patterns where when I read through it and then I went and read through it again, I'm like, I don't understand it. But it was the way it was worded, I think, was the problem.
Ouch. Yeah.
And there was no pictures to look at to see, what, through the steps of what they're talking about. So when you make a block and it comes out wrong after twice of trying, I'm like, either I can't read or something is wrong with this. And I don't come across that many patterns that are like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that it's something I think I've been thinking about doing as a tutorial, kind of like. And I made this comment before to someone. I don't think I necessarily understand the mechanics of a block. What makes it come together the way it does. A lot of it has to do with math. I get that, but it's not just math. And I think that if you can learn why it works the way it does, maybe building the block, it would be easier. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the understanding will come together, and maybe you won't struggle so much with making a block. And I thought about I have a couple books in there where it has like 100 blocks in it. And I thought about, why not make a tutorial on how to make a 4-patch, how to make a 9-patch, and do like 2 different ways of doing it, and do it as a short tutorial. And maybe by doing that, the understanding of the mechanics of a block will come into play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's a good thing, because a lot of people are new to quilting, and even though a 4-patch and a 9-patch is a simple block for those of us who have been quilting a while, there's a lot of people who don't understand what the heck that is. So it's a good thing to do for a tutorial for those people.
Yep. And shortcuts on how you can, while you're making it, do it one way, but also show a shortcut way of doing it, like using strip sets.
Yeah.
And how a strip set will, in the end, make that 4-patch or make that 9-patch block.
Yeah, I like doing those in I call it my manifest quilt. I do it's all strip sets, and just cutting them down into whatever width to make like the 9 patches or whatever. But it's actually the Burgoyne. It's called the Burgoyne Surrounded is the original name of the block. And but I just always loved that. And I'm like, I'm gonna write my own pattern for that. And I really like it though. Like I said, I like doing things that I can do with strip sets, and then all of a sudden there you have a block just from a strip set.
Sets do so many. Strip sets can make so many things. It's truly amazing.
Yeah.
And I use a half square triangle to make half square triangles. If I'm gonna have to make a mass amount of them. I made a quilt top this last summer that had 480 half square triangles in it.
That's a lot.
And it had 480 4-patches in it. And let me tell you what, I got all those half square triangles made in one day. It took me 3 days to make that 480 4-patches, even though I did strip sets.
Really? Oh.
Yes. Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah. That is a lot. I think if I saw a pattern that had that many half square triangles, I would run the other way.
Yeah, when I realized how many, I'm like, oh my God, I must be insane. Okay. Vicky says, Frank, I already read that part. Let me see here. Lori says, I have 4 brothers. One is in Luminaire and the other is in sewing machines. Lori says, I have 2 brothers. One is a Luminaire and the other is a Enovus BQ 2500. Teresa says, yes, some patterns are very confusing. Pat Boo says, hi, Teresa. Teresa says, hi, Pat. Shelby says, it's geometry, not arithmetic. Okay, good one, Shelby. Vicky says, The reason I hated Florida was the bugs and the isolations. I milked 200 head of goat, did pasteurizing and then the bottling and sterilization and then deliveries, plus took care of my dad's motorhome. Pat says everyone's eye, I believe, helps the block come together. We all have a vision, and most all of us would make a particular block look differently. I don't know. No one else is going to comment on what machines they're using? Or did I miss all of that? Denise says, I have a brother, but lately I am hand sewing EPP style. Jerry says, I have a brother Enovis and a Janome 3160. Denise says, I have a Janome 8050 and my featherweight. Deb says she has two brothers. Shelby has a Juki TL 2010Q. Pat says she has a Juki. I did miss a bunch of them, didn't I? Wow. Don't miss machines. Vicky says I have a, oh my gosh, Husqvarna, is that how you say it?
Those Husqvarnas?
Yes, that one. You just said it the way it's supposed to be said. Good, thank you. Because I don't know how to say that one. I've seen one over here that's called that. Sherry says I have a brother CX7000X.
A lot of brother machines.
Yeah, it looks like it. I know Shauna, the guy who sews, he sews on a brother and on a Bernina.
Yeah.
Y'all want to know what my next machine's going to be when my husband lets me buy another one?
What's that?
Anyone want to know? After going to 45 shops, I know what one I want now.
Is it the Bernina that stands up with the adjustable table?
No, it's not a Bernina. It's another Janome. It's going to be the Janome M8. The Janome M8 now will be coming with a stitch regulator, and the neck is even longer than the one I have on my 6700P. And yeah, that's what I want to do.
Nice.
As a backup machine. And I could probably, I don't know, put it on a table where I could quilt with it. I looked at the M17, and the M17 is definitely not for me.
Oh, I don't know about you. I've never tried those.
Well, I have a 6700P, and it's 4 years old now, and I am still loving it. And when I went to QuiltCon this time, I talked to a couple of Janome dealers, and they sat down with me to show me how to how the HP part of it works, because I'm only using like 30% of my machine's capabilities.
Yeah.
Because and they sat me down and explained how the switching over to the HP part of it and how it knows which feet are the right feet, blah blah blah. And I also bought a HP walking foot that I can use with it, because it came with a walking foot, but not for the HP part of it. And I'm going to go from
what does HP mean?
High performance. The saying is if you start using the HP into this Janome, you will never go back to the old part of it, because it's so precise.
Oh.
Especially when it comes to piecing.
Yeah, my machines before I had the baby locks, I usually had brothers also, and then I had a FOF was my very last one. My machine, I had a brother, and it it like stopped working, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I was like in a panic, and I'm like, I can't be without a sewing machine. And so I went to the sewing machine store, and I'm like, okay, what's the cheapest machine that you have that's not a brother? Because I just wanted to try another brand. So I got the FOF Passport, which was the 2.0, which is their smallest, I think. And I liked it, never had any issue with it. But you know why my other one stopped working? Was because it needed to be cleaned. There was so much stuff in there that it like just locked up.
Oh my gosh.
And I had that machine, I can't even tell you how many years, you know? So.
Well, I came from being a Singer user.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Isn't Brother like a part of Singer, or am I wrong?
Well, Bernina now owns the Singer company.
Oh.
And the reason I opted out of buying it, when I went to Denmark looking for a machine, I was going to buy a Bernina. And when I walked into the shop that I had planned to visit, I had already been conversing with her through an email, telling her I was going to be coming such and such time. Could we discuss her machines? And when I came in, she says, why do you want a Bernina? I said, because everybody keeps saying it's such a wonderful machine. And she says, well, I'm going to give you my take on that. I said, okay. She's told me that when Bernina started using plastic parts in their machine, it made them less reliable. And that they had bought out the Singer company as well. And so, and you probably noticed that, you know, you see the, I think they call it, what's that one that's made of metal? It's called something.
The featherweights, the old ones?
No, not the featherweight. This particular Singer, it's an industrial one. That's what it is.
Oh.
And it's the only metal one that has all the metal parts in it. But anyway, the new ones I'm talking about, not the old ones. And she says, would you be interested in hearing about other machines? I'm like, sure, go ahead. So she showed me this Janome 6700P. She had one in her shop. And she sat down and she sewed on it, and I couldn't get over how quiet it was for such a big machine. And it's a big machine. And it's all metal. And it has 3 pressure foot plates. It comes with a lot of stuff on it. You know, it's not fancy like the most expensive fancy machine that does all kinds of like thousands of stitches, but it has quite an enormous group of stitches it can do. But what I like about it is it's not loud, and I can sew fast or slow with it if I want to, and it not, you know, give me trouble. And I have not had, whenever I think it sounds weird, it means I need to clean it.
Now we know.
And probably need to replace the needle on it too. Okay, let me see what's been said now. Shelby says, yeah, with the built-in stitch regulator, you should be able to do free motion. Yeah, I can do free motion on this one, but I haven't tried yet. I've just mostly been doing straight stitch quilting on this one. Pat Boo says, I missed it. I'm on my Juki. Oh, okay. Vicky Ramsey. In fact, I have 3. How did you say that again? The one that starts with the H?
Husqvarnas. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, she has a serger, the Lily, and one of the first large embroidery machines, the Diamond. Before those, I had tried a Bernina and a Fat, but didn't really like them. And before those, I used a good old Singer sewing machine. Yep. Yeah. Frank says, I have 2 Singers and 6 Kenmores. Wow. Yeah. Frank, my daughter inherited her grandmother's Kenmore, and I bet that Kenmore is in a fancy cabinet and everything. And I guarantee you that Kenmore is probably at least 60 years old. Yeah.
My mom had a blue one in a cabinet, but we weren't allowed to touch it because I didn't know how to sew that thing when I was really little, but I really wanted to because I'd see her sew, and she had that thing for years. My mom and dad were big Kenmore people. I mean, Sears, you know, all the appliances.
Sears all the way.
Yeah. I liked that store.
I liked that store too. I liked going up there to buy Craftsman tools because, you know, they had warranties on a lot of their stuff where if you broke a Craftsman's tool and you brought it back up there, they would replace it for free.
Mm-hmm. I worked
especially if it was tools like you use to work on work on vehicles and stuff.
Yeah, it's just crazy because it was around so long, and they built houses and everything. You know, I mean, whatever you needed, you could find at Sears.
Yep. Sears and Roebuck's what it started out being, and then it turned into just Sears. And they used to have a catalog where you could order out of the catalog.
Yep. I always looked forward to that every Christmas, even though I wasn't going to get a single thing that I marked. My sister and I would still go through the whole thing.
It was fun doing the catalog. I loved going up and getting the catalog, if nothing else, but to look at all the pictures, you know?
Yeah.
And dream about, oh, I want this or I want that. I don't even think they have catalogs anymore.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Now that the internet's a way to order so much stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they were just such good stores. I used to, when my daughter was little, I got her clothes at Sears and Mervyn's, and they were like good. We grew up on when Woolworths was still around. After I got out of high school, that's where I bought all my dishes, you know, and they had a fabric section, and I would go and buy fabric to buy clothes. So
those
funny.
were the days when you could walk in and buy all kinds of fabric for making clothes.
Yeah.
I made countless wrapper because we wore dresses. We weren't allowed to wear pants or nothing. I used to make countless jean wraparound skirts because I loved that style of skirt.
Yeah.
Or I would make the really flary skirts where it's flares way out. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Because I liked the way it felt when it was touching my legs. It was funny.
It was like cheaper.
I also made myself a 8 gore skirt because, you know, that makes it really flary.
Yeah. Yep. It was cheaper to make your clothes back then than to buy them.
Yes, it was.
But now it's like you can buy them cheaper than you can make it, because
you still pay high price for dresses, though.
Yeah, they just don't have the. I mean, I don't know. I hate to keep showing my age, but when the fabric stores, when I first started sewing as a teenager, they were just strictly for fabric. It wasn't fabric and craft. So you had a lot of fabric to choose from. And now you go into like Joann's and you got a little tiny section for quilting and 500
and
rows
then
of
some weird fabric some weird fabric they sell. And when you go up there and you ask, do you know what kind of fabric this shirt is made out of? You get a blank look. Like, aren't you supposed to know what this fabric is?
Yeah. Oh, good. I made those the right direction.
I hope I don't regret not just changing this to a different square, because I had accidentally put corner to corner marks, not just on one direction, but on the other direction too.
Oh, God dang it. Is that the wrong?
Oh, just mess up.
Well, my first 2 pieces, I did the diagonal, so it goes like that.
Yeah.
But then the second, all the rest of the pieces are going the opposite direction, and I wanted all of these triangles to face the same direction. Darn it.
Are you going to be able to fix that?
I'll just have to make more. I don't think I can. I think I need to make like 2 more. Gosh, all that fabric, and I have to use 4 2.5-inch strips, and I only need 2 blocks.
Shelby says, I do have a couple of backup machines and a few old machines I inherited. Laugh out loud. And my newest addition, the Grace Qaqortoq 19X Elite Long Arm. Lucky you, girlfriend.
Yep.
See, the reason I'm looking at another machine is I don't have a backup machine.
Yes, you do.
No, I'm not going back to that Singer. You can hang that up. You think for 1 minute I'm going to go back to piecing on that thing? No. It's a little Singer talent, and let me tell you what. It tells you that it wasn't meant for piecing.
Oh.
It would eat half square triangles like it was going out of style. Uh-oh. I just knocked something off up here.
Darn it. I'm so mad. I hate that when you're on a roll and you're like, yay, I'm done.
Nope. Vicky says, I have yet to learn how to sew and watch YouTube. You probably do what the rest of us do if we're listening, watching YouTube and sewing. More than likely, it's more like we're listening and sewing.
Maybe I have enough out of that one.
Well, I hope you don't have to, you can't take it apart and reset it around.
Oh gosh, no, they're just strip set, so I can always cut another.
Oh, okay.
And then one of them I accidentally cut with my rotary cutter on one of the triangles because I wasn't being careful. Yeah, so I think I need 2 more. Just double check. It's funny because I was watching this TikTok video of this lady who was making following a recipe, and the first thing it said was like, 1/2 cup rice. And so she looks at it, and then she's like, hold on, like, let me look again. And she looks again. So she looks at it like 5 times before she actually does the 1/2 cup rice. And then she looks at the recipe again and it says 1.5 cups. So it's just kind of a funny thing on how many times we look at our stuff, how many times we count.
Yep.
Because we're like just not sure. And then it's like, wait, is that right?
It's like, nope, it's not.
5, 6.
It's kind of like when I make sometimes I write blogs. Well, I have a blog, so I do write blogs. And a lot of I write about food sometimes that I make. And I put in there, this is a best guess estimate of how much to use of this. Because when I'm making my own recipe, I don't measure anything.
Yeah.
And I can guess about how much of something to use based on it's just 2 of us eating, Now it's different if you're going to feed 10 people. So when you're writing a recipe about it, you're gonna like, oh my God, I either need to recook the dish so I can write down, guesstimates at least. Or I just guess and hope for the best that somebody figures it out on their own.
Oh.
My mother was like that. She could make oh my God. She made the best ever chicken and dumplings and biscuits. But did she measure anything when she was making biscuits? Nope. She would take this big bowl and she'd pour flour in the bowl and make a big hole in the middle. And then she'd put shortening and milk in the middle of the hole. And then she would take her hands and squish the shortening until it mixed with the milk. And then she would slowly incorporate the flour into that liquid mixture. And she knew just how long and how far to take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was a good cook. And I miss her biscuits and I miss her fried okra.
Yum. Yeah. I do not miss my mom's cooking. We had the same thing every day of the week. Well, Fridays were always fish and Sunday was always roast.
Yep. Sunday dinner, pot roast. Let's see. Frank, I live near you. If I lived near you, I would ask you to check over my machine, but right now it's working just like the day I bought it. That's what Vicky says. And then Shelby says, yeah, I'm mostly listening and working the Fat Quarter Shop Vintage Kite Table Runner on the Sew Sampler box from a while ago. Frank says, I love my old Kenmar. I learned to sew on the 1303. And then Vicky says, Frank, how do you like quilting?
Oh, my floor is a disaster.
Uh-oh.
I'm like so bad.
It's all right. I have to rip out one of these blocks, so join the club. Jack the Ripper's about to come out of hiding. Because I have one to fix. Dang it.
I know it's like a major feat when you get through a quilt top without having to rip any seams.
Yep. All right, what did I do with my seam ripper? Don't hide from me. So I don't want to use the other one. Oh, great. I must have knocked it off or something. The dogs are awful quiet.
That's because I keep scolding her.
Where did she go?
She's here. Keep yipping.
I hadn't heard her whining. I could always move the cutting board off the sofa and let her get up there, but then she'll be jumping on and off of it, and it's too high to be jumping off of. I'm worried she's going to mess her back up. I'm not supposed to be jumping. Bad for Dachshunds to be jumping.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh.
They can mess their spine up jumping.
Oh.
Like jumping off sofas or jumping onto sofas or beds. Because they're prone to injury of the spine. Now, I don't know that. Now, she comes from a pretty tough bloodline, and this is the first Dachshund I have ever seen that's not afraid of anything. She is not afraid.
Yeah.
She will let you know, and she'll tell people back off. But she's not. I've seen Dachshunds that are super people aggressive. I mean, you can't even touch them without worrying about getting bitten. She doesn't do that. But she will let you know, hey, this is my house. You have to ask permission to come in.
You want to tell her about Ichi?
So when Nikolai came to Florida for the first time, this is before we got married. And he was staying in a hotel, but I would bring him home with me because I had to feed the horses. And I had a small Dachshund Terrier mixed dog and a German Shepherd dog, and I needed to go home and feed them. And he would come with me. And one day we went walking in the house, and I told him, I said, I'll be right back. I got to go to the bathroom. That's what I had to do. And I said, just the living room's that direction. And I had completely forgot that Ichi was in the house. And I'm in the bathroom, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. There's something wrong here, because I didn't think that she slipped by us to get outside. And I'm like, why is she should have been barking at Nikolai by now. Go walking in the living room. She's sitting in his lap, licking his face.
Oh.
The little traitor. First time she met him, that's what she was doing. And this is the same dog that would scare the light man away by biting his ankles.
Oh. That's funny.
The German Shepherd could care less about the electric man, but oh boy, Ichi wanted to chase him.
Yep.
When I moved here, I brought Ichi with me. And that's how I come to like because I've always had German Shepherds all of my adult life. And when Ichi passed away, I told Nikolai, I said, I want another Dachshund. I've come to love that breed. And I've always had 2 dogs at a time, not one, always 2. Because, one dog can be lonely, especially if you're working or whatever. And they're less apt to destroy your house. Unless there are high active dogs that are bored out of their minds.
Right.
And can't entertain themselves by playing with one another. Let her in here, babe. I shouldn't have mentioned her because now she's talking.
Oh, it's like, are you talking about me?
She heard her name, I think. So anyway, when I brought her here, she adapted for the most part, other than she was born in the middle of a forest fire, so she couldn't deal with certain things. She would be shaking all over or whatever. So things like thunder or like fireworks or people slamming doors or people raising their voices, she couldn't handle any of that. And so when I went on looking for a new Dachshund, I joined a couple of Dachshund groups, and I said, this is what I'm looking for. I want a black and tan female that's built of tough stuff, that will come from a bloodline that when I get her, she's not going to shake every time she hears a door slam or fireworks going off outside, because you have to trank your dogs because they're scared of, fireworks. And I thought I almost killed her one time because the vet told me to give her a whole tranquilizer pill. The dog passed out for like 18 hours.
Oh my gosh.
He couldn't stand up. It was. Watch out. Watch out. Hold on. Lots. 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 Hold on, you guys. Lots. I'm not going to ask again.
Lots. Lots.
Does he need to go outside? Oh, there he goes. Okay, now he's laying down. Okay. Sorry about that, you guys. Anyway, what was we talking about? Oh, thunder. So, Nora came from, Hoda came from the Czech Republic, but Nora came from Russia.
Oh.
Teresa, Nora kills mice in our house every fall, and she eats them. Speaking of jumping, did you watch the video of the baby emperor's penguins jumping off the cliffs, taking their first swim? I've watched a couple of them like that, and yeah, they are amazing. Vicky says, I showed miniature pictures in AKC shows for a couple of years. Oh, that's cool. Dogs know a good person when they meet them. Yes, they do, Shelby. Vicky says, I used to raise Dachshunds. I found they were very different from other breeds of dogs. Yes, they are. The biggest, you want to know the two biggest traits about Dachshunds that are a pain in the butt? The first one is they have a stubborn streak, and you can watch this happen. You could tell them to come, and they'll stand there and they'll look at you, and you can see it in their eyes. Do I want to come, or do I want to go follow my nose? And sometimes the nose overpowers the I better go to mama. Now, Nora's not so bad about it, but she does it sometimes. The other thing is all they can think about is food. Food is their number one. She would eat herself into oblivion if I let her. So, yeah, I don't leave food sitting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about you, little miss.
Another blue.
Frank says they are useful little guys. Yes, they are. Shelby says miniature pins are so cute. Yep, they are. And then Teresa says, I saw that, Denise. That was a long jump. And Vicky says, yes, they do, Katie. Talking about Dachshunds and their strong-willed nature. But the funny thing with Nora, she's so she's pretty you can get her to do things even if you use like a small snack. You can get her to do something sometimes with just a treat, and you might use a treat for a couple times to get her to do something, and then decide to leave the treat out, and you ask her to do whatever it is you're asking her to do, and she does it. She doesn't stop doing it because I didn't give her a treat.
Right. Yeah.
So what she's learned has been learned. So she's not depending. I'm not, having to bribe her every time to get her to cooperate with something. The biggest things I've had to teach her, because Dachshunds, they get a smell. You'll see them sniffing the air outside, and the next thing you know, you see body going into motion. And you don't want her running down the road. We have a fox problem right now.
Yeah.
Going on outside. Now, she could kill a fox by herself, one fox, but I don't know that she could fight off a team of foxes. And a lot of people over here in Europe use Dachshund. Why do I have two seams on this? I don't see two seams on the other side. I must have forgot to take the thread out. Uh-oh. Anyway, a lot of Joelsen owners in Europe use them for hunting foxes. They'll have a team of them. And there is some in the United States doing the same thing. Where they're teaching their dogs to hunt foxes, and they allow their dogs to go into the den and pull the fox out of there and kill them.
Oh gosh. It's not going the same way. I think I need to make some more.
I hope this seam is not going to be a problem. It sure looks like it might. What in the heck did I do? I don't know. I'm gonna have to take that one out. There's something wrong with that one.
Two of those.
Oh, I sewed it in the wrong direction. That's what happened.
Oh.
Oops. That's why it looked weird. Like, what in the world did I do? So easy to get triangles turned backwards. So easy.
Yep.
Frank says, who's the boss?
If I should have.
Right. Okay. So that means I only have to rip this one out because I turned it the wrong darn direction. Oops. That's why I had this weird seam going on. And I was afraid to go picking around on it until I figured out what the problem was. Because then I might mess up something else, you know?
Yeah. One.
So let me ask a funny question. So if you had $5,000 given to you, which sewing machine would you go spend that $5,000 on? Tell us in the channel, which would you take $5,000 to buy as a machine? Let's see what we get for an answer. What would you buy if you had $5,000 to buy another machine?
I don't know. Pretty happy with this one, but well, that's not 5,000. I was gonna say I've always wanted to use that Bernina that's on the table that goes up and down, but I know that's a sit-down quilter. Plus, it's a sewing. But I imagine that's way more than $5,000.
It probably is. No one's answering yet.
Not that
Come on, you guys. I need you to talk.
the dark.
I need to see how long we've been sewing together, too. What time is it? Oh, yeah, we need to think about closing up soon. I don't know how come I can't seem to keep my sewings to 2 hours.
Oh, I thought you said it was 3.
He did say it was 3. We've already been sewing 3 hours.
Oh.
No, all of my lives seem to go to 3 hours. I can't seem to convince myself to stop sooner, I guess. And we've been talking a lot about different things. Plus, we're sewing. Denise says, we'll catch the replay. Hi, Denise. Bye, Denise. Hi, Andrea. I had a Dotsie that nearly tore our house apart when a family of possums decided to take a, oh my gosh. Do you know that Nora sniffs through the walls because she could smell mice too? During the fall, when the fall comes, the weather the weather gets chilly and all those mice that been out in nature, they find the nearest warm place to hide. So all of us spend a month killing mice off out of our house.
Does not sound like fun.
It's a pain in the butt. But this past fall, Nora killed 2 of them, and she ate one of them. And I'm like, really? You could just leave it alone and play with it and not eat it?
Yeah.
And about 30 minutes later, she puked it up. I'm like, your stomach says you should not be eating this. But I think she didn't have it dead when it got in her stomach.
Ugh. Look.
Well, you know, dogs will eat about anything, as you well know.
Yeah.
That's why you're. And the interesting thing is I don't know how dogs know that they can eat fruit, but they know, like berries, because we have Greenlandic blueberries here, and something called the crowberry here, and both my dogs know that they can eat it. So every summer when we take them out or fall when they start to ripen,
oops,
they will graze on them. And berries is something that dogs can have in their diet.
Yeah.
This one block is giving me grief, man.
1, 2, 3. Oh, I need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, let's press it and see what happens.
2 minutes.
This iron is very hot.
That's the toner itself too.
Oh, thanks, babe. Oh, you always have the right words to say, don't you? My hero.
Never do moment with me, honey.
Have a nice night, Teresa, and thank you for coming. I'm almost finished with this last piece of block. So, all right, question for you guys. We are 3 hours in on this. I don't know how close Mary is to putting a block together. But I think after I get this one trimmed, I have all the pieces to create a block with. Do you want to stay for us to put at least one block together? Or do you want us to go ahead and stop the live? What's your say on this? Because y'all are the ones sitting this long watching. Andrea says, if I had $5K to spend on a machine, it would be a very hard choice. It would have to do with a lot of things like 1,000 or more stitches, so fast, be computerized, and have a lifetime service and repair. I don't think there's any machine that has a lifetime warranty on it that I know of. Or I've never seen one with a lifetime warranty. Have you?
I don't think I've ever paid attention.
Me neither. Usually depends on what it is. Used to be refrigerators had what, a 10-year warranty, but now they're like 5 years.
Yeah.
I guess they've become disposable.
I was thinking, I don't know if I want to continue a lot longer because I was hoping to make some spaghetti for dinner.
Okay.
I don't know.
We can go ahead and call it quits if you like.
Because I know you said you wanted to stay on till you got your block done. How far
Well, I
along?
could, but I don't have to. My point. I just was, I know we were 3 hours in and I didn't realize that we had already gone that long.
I went by fast.
Yes, it did, because we've been talking the whole time.
2 hours and 10 minutes. 3 hours and 10 minutes.
3 hours and 10 minutes we've been talking.
Yeah.
Wow.
You started at 10, at 7. It's 10 now.
Yeah, I started at 7 and it's 10 now. Yeah, that's 3 hours.
Oh, ask them again if there's still someone's in darkness now.
Anyone got darkness right now?
Nope.
We're almost dark.
Not until probably not for like
Some of them
another
are,
3 hours.
yeah, California is like 6 hours behind us, babe.
I don't know.
So some of them are not going to have darkness anyway.
I was finding one more of those. I got this.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you what the pieces that I've got done. Well, wait. Hang on a minute. I thought I pressed them all, but apparently not. While I'm pressing them, I'm going to show you what I worked on. Mary, you want to show them all of the ones you've done already? I
Oh,
can go ahead. I can go ahead and pin you.
oh, I could just let me take this out of the. I guess I can unplug it, Mary. But I don't know if you can see. It's probably not going to let me show because of the. You're just getting a great big view of my messy sewing room. I don't know. It's like this camera. It's not letting me show the whole thing because of the
Oh,
way
it turned
wants
around
to-
again. Yeah, you
the
went
way
from
it
being
wants to-
vertical to horizontal.
Oh,
I mean, from horizontal to vertical. Sorry.
I wonder if I
Something.
switch. Does that do it? Oh, oops. I swear. Okay, there we go. Once I switched it, I still need
That
to
looks
make another.
great.
Oh, thanks. I got to make another row, and then I'll just put some borders on it to make it bigger, because I don't feel like making a whole bunch of triangles. But it should equal. They're 8-inch squares, so it's 40 unfinished. And it's just a baby quilt, so I don't think I need to do a whole lot more.
Well, that's outstanding. I'm almost done with these blocks and I'll show it to you guys. I haven't got the block put together. I just have the parts of it that needs to go together done.
Is that gonna fall? I'm gonna iron one more. But yeah, I need to clean my sewing room. One of these days.
I just need to get into my sewing room.
Yeah. I just always try to make sure the camera's only on me when I do interviews, so I don't have to worry about cleaning anything.
This one's tired of working out of the living room. It's too crowded in here. Okay. Now that you've seen her handiwork, I'm going to show you pieces of my handiwork. And
Okay,
then all I
unspotlight.
have to do after that, yep, I got to move the spotlight.
Here we go.
Now I'll put the spotlight on me. Okay, so let me show you the block again so you know what it is I'm making. It's this block bit here I'm making. Okay, so I have let me try to set it up on this small design board, at least the way it should look.
Where did I just put that fabric?
Babe,
Yeah.
I need can you grab one of those bigger design boards where I can set this up on it? Because this one's too small, and I can't show them what it should look like. So I need to put it on a bigger board. That way I can show it to them. Here we go. Yep, that's better. Then they'll be able to see what it's supposed to be. Instead of trying to guess.
What did I do with that fabric?
Did you lose something?
I lost my fabric in my board.
Uh-oh.
I got it.
Okay. And we put this one here. Wait. Yeah, I need to move this up. Hang on, you guys. I'm about to have it done. There should be a block that goes in the middle. Yep, right here. You licking your feet again?
Yeah.
Silly girl. All right. Two more to go here. Wait till you see this block, you guys. Once it's sewn together, it's going to be so beautiful, I think.
Yeah, it would look good with like a bunch of those just as a whole quilt.
Yeah, really. All right. This is what it's looking like.
That's pretty.
You like your design in this batiks?
I do. I like it a lot. I especially like how the yellow, so it's not like a big, stark, in your face color.
Yep.
It's just more subtle. I like it. Nice job. Good color choices.
Thank you. I think it's going to look great with the rest of it.
Yeah, I like that batik too. That's a really nice print.
Yeah, I really like that one there. That color.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like how the center one has a lot of those flowers in it that show fall.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is what the block will look like when I sew it together. And then all the blocks will have to be, I still have to put sashing on a couple of them, I think.
It's the easy part.
Sylvia. Yeah. The sashing is the easy part, and then sewing the blocks together. And then the fun part, putting all those borders on and making sure they all line up properly.
And all those, did you already make your square and square blocks?
Yeah, they're already made in on strips. So they're sewn together already and
Oh,
ready to go on the quilt. But I kind of sort of I don't know. Let me go see if I can find it. I had to pack up this room before I left for the US so that the person was staying here to sleep on the sofa until I left. And then when I left, she moved into the bedroom. But I don't remember.
Just kidding. Side.
That looks like it might be it. That babe. Okay. Since you haven't seen it, I'll show it to you real quick. I have found it. Okay, so this is the upward block.
I really like that one. She did a good job on that.
And these are the borders.
Very
This is
cool.
one border. Two border.
I like the red.
Yeah, me too. Number 3 border with the quilt label on it.
Oh, nice. What a good idea.
Number 4 border.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did we call this one?
I think
With
it's
the
this.
apple on it.
Is it schoolhouse or something?
Yeah,
School.
schoolhouse, something like that.
Yeah. Pretty.
And then okay.
The Sharice's block is the one with the, oh, you
Yeah,
haven't
the
done that.
upward. Yeah, yeah, this is the one I showed you before was the one that's too small. This is the right
Oh,
size one.
okay.
So what I'm
Yeah.
going to do with the other one is I'm going to put it on the back of the quilt
Oh, yeah.
instead of wasting it. And this one's called Page Turner. And all I
Very,
got to do is get the borders made for, or the sashings on them, and then sew the border on, and then it's done.
yeah. Ooh.
And then I'll have one more finished quilt top.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So small.
I want to say thank you to everyone for coming to watch this extremely long live. I'm so sorry. I am really sorry, but I can't help it. Y'all, we were having a good time. I hope please hit the like button. Also, I'm gonna paste Mary's YouTube channel in the y'all go over and subscribe to her channel and share some love, and maybe this will boost her to want to make some more videos.
Yeah. I just gotta find time.
So anyway, I thank you everyone for coming and enjoying what we're doing. Thank you, Shelby. Thank you, everyone. And I will see you next Saturday. And next Saturday, we're going to be talking about the sew along that I'm going to start. And also, I have a guest next Saturday. Eric of Treasure Hearts Creations is going to come and sew with us. I finally got him pinned down. So, yep. So thank you for everything. And y'all, I know that I was absent for 6 weeks. And I'm sorry about that. It's hard to make videos when you're driving more than you're staying parked. So I don't know, maybe next time before I go on my trip in 2026, maybe I can have some built up videos where y'all have something to do while I'm gone. So again, thank you for following me. Thank you for welcoming Mary. And Mary, thank you for coming and sewing with me. And so I'm going to say live, laugh, love, and dream, and make sure you're creating in the process. Love you guys, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
See you on the next video. Don't hang up. Let me get off here first.
Why is that so small?
Okay. All right.